He throws end zone. He's got Evans for the touchdown.
The presenting sponsor of Super Bowl 55 coverage from Tampa, Florida on SicEm365 Radio is Marco's Pizza. Pizza for pizza lovers with locations in Woodway, China Spring, and Belmead.
Here's Mahomes. Look at underhanded. He throws it for the touchdown. How about that throw?
Little underhand.
Also brought to you by IdealMRI.com, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Waco Custom Marketplace, Boozer's Jewelers, Stonewood Dental, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac.
Here's the fake toss. Able to get away and find Hill at the 35-30. Hill inside the 20.
Edward Jones Financial Advisors, Petty Clinic Low T, Pioneer Steel and Pipe, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, and Impact Health Labs.
Brady goes for the deep shot. He's got a touchdown! Scotty Miller.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go. Our final day on Radio Row inside the Tampa Convention Center. 3 hours of stick your head in a tank of gasoline, light it with a match, because our guest lineup today, we hope, is maybe of the 3 days. Curly Culp, Hall of Fame. Warren Moon, Hall of Fame. DeMarcus Ware will be in the Hall of Fame. Will Shields, Hall of Fame. Sean King, former Bucs quarterback. Dave Mason on betonline.com. Drew Bledsoe, former Cowboys, Bills, and Patriots quarterback who won a ring as a backup. There's a great documentary out on him on ESPN. We had a great talk with him. Darryl Strawberry from Tampa, Florida. He's with us today live at 5, and we'll also have a couple of other guests. Grayson Grundhafer, we're trying to find out exactly, but right now he's scheduled for 5:45. Paul Catalina here with me in Tampa, Radio Row. Again, we've been here since Wednesday. There's a game on Sunday. Craig Smoak back in the studios at 101 Elm Avenue in Waco. Paul, there's a game on Sunday. Baylor men's basketball, though, as we were closing things out last night, they end up having to cancel the next 2 games, and I'm being told there's a lot of people.
I hope it's just the next 2 games. I hope it is. I hope it doesn't linger, and I hope that it's mild and all that. But I mean, here it is. It's not going to stop rearing its ugly head, this season. I mean, it just, we're not going to get. We're just the only way out's through.
Based on what I'm being told, Craig, with the amount of players who not only tested positive, but also the contact tracing, which was a chunk, not only the games on Saturday and Wednesday that are in jeopardy, but I'll be surprised if they, and I'm not saying anyone's told me this, but just based on the numbers of what makes sense, it'll be tough for them to play that game a week from Saturday against Texas Tech as well.
Well, I mean, that's news to me and news to everybody else. There's a little bit more of an encouraging update over on the Fro today. So, maybe it falls somewhere in the middle. Clearly, there's multiple guys right now dealing with COVID and or tracing or whatever the case may be. So, we just have to, nothing we can do about it. Just have to sit back and hopefully these guys get better soon. That's the most important thing. And hopefully it doesn't drag on for too long, because with not playing and having, half your roster or half of your starting 5 or whatever the case may be, dealing with this right now, there's going to be some rustiness. I think in that game against Texas last week, that was the first time Texas had really been together for a while. I don't think that's why Baylor won, because I think they'll win the second game as well. But, there is going to be some rustiness, and they were playing at such a high level with such a great rhythm. You just hope that they can, when they all reconvene here, hopefully sooner rather than later, get right back into that rhythm.
So tomorrow, Iowa State at Oklahoma, Kansas at West Virginia, Texas at Oklahoma State, Texas Tech at Kansas State. And if West Virginia and Texas lose before Baylor even plays another game, they will be up 4 in the loss column. But, of course, that doesn't mean either one will, or that if 1 or 2 of them or both lose. Women won big against Kansas. Super Bowl 55 Sunday, Chiefs. And, of course, the Buccaneers here at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. We're now joined by Hall of Famer Curly Culp. He was a part of the Super Bowl IV championship team with the Kansas City Chiefs and a longtime member of the Houston Oilers as well. Curly, thank you very much for your time. What did that ring mean to you that year when you were able to beat the Vikings in Super Bowl IV, the year after Joe Namath and the Jets stunned the Colts as well?
Well, it's a great opportunity to be on the championship team. That was my second year in the National Football League, so being a part of all that was very exciting. And, it's a great tribute to the team we had, offensively, defense, and special teams.
You played for one of the great characters in NFL history, in Hank Stram. What was he like day to day?
Well, as well, Hank was a very innovator. In fact, some things that he tried to do offensively, with the small backs and then the offensive linemen when they would stand up, kind of, disguise the kind of things they were doing, offensively with Lynn Dawson. And defensively, we had that stacked defense where we slid back and forth. So he was remarkable and tried the things that he tried to do, week in and week out to try to give us an edge going into each contest.
When you played in Super Bowl IV, and then you look and you fast forward all these years later to what the Super Bowl has become, did you have any idea at the time that the game would grow the way that it has?
Well, it's a fan favorite, when it comes to sports. And so, it really helps overall with the progression of the game. The rules have changed a little bit, but it's still an exciting game. It's more of an offensive game now more than a defensive game, but it's still exciting for fans, I believe.
You played a position right there in the middle of all that meat and potatoes and all the collisions and the every down like a car wreck. What was that like for you the day after a game, and how long did it take for you to feel okay before you played the next game during the season?
I think two factors that came to play. First of all, is the team itself. Now, some teams are more physical than others, but those physical games, like when I was with Kansas City, we played Oakland, or when I was with Houston Oilers when we played Pittsburgh, you felt kind of sore the next day, and it took you maybe a day or two to kind of get back to the groove. But usually it depended on, the kind of things you did during the week and also during the off season to prepare yourself for those kind of contests.
You were considered undersized as a defensive lineman at the time, or at least a tweener. And now you see these guys and they're gigantic, but did that motivate you as well, that people doubted your ability to play a certain position?
Well, I was very fortunate to have an opportunity to play in the college all-star game in Evanston that year, and so I was able to be around some of the guys that were supposed to be some of the top, offensive defense players in college. So I kind of knew that I fit in a little bit, and being a smaller size, it didn't really create a real problem for me. I just kind of, did the things I needed to do to succeed.
How much did also competing in wrestling, did that help at all in playing football?
Absolutely. Some of the skills that are needed to be proficient in wrestling kind of transfer to football, like agility, quickness, and, hand-to-hand kind of things you need to do in wrestling. So, it was a very complementary to football.
Curly, you played all the way up until the early 80s, but it wasn't until 2013 when Pro Football called the Hall of Fame, David Baker and that group called you to be a part of among the era and the greatest to ever play the game. Did you ever wonder during that time if you would ever get that call?
No, I did not. I'm very fortunate to be part of the group, and I'm very blessed. And it's a great honor. And but I didn't really think I was going to be a Hall of Famer. That wasn't my goal. My goal when I was playing professional football was just to be the best I could be, week in and week out. And with my body of work, I guess it was enough to be considered and ultimately become a Hall of Famer, which I'm extremely proud of.
You also played for Bum Phillips. Bum Phillips, who, when I was watching old NFL films from my youth, was the favorite ones when they mic'd those guys up because they were so crazy. What kind of innovator was Bum Phillips?
Well, Bum was when you try to compare the two coaches, Bum against a guy like Hank Stram, they were different in their approach to the game, but they both were coaches that won. And so with Bum, he was more of a, hands-on kind of guy. He wasn't very interested in too much of the interaction between ball players, but Hank was. He was more organized, I think, from a lot of perspective in comparing to Bum. But Bum was a great guy, great coach. He's a player's coach with a lot of respect, and he gave us an opportunity to succeed as players.
So as has been well documented, after you won a Super Bowl there with Kansas City in Super Bowl IV, it was a very long time before the city was able to celebrate another one. What did that mean for you as a former Chief to see Patrick Mahomes and company do what they did last year, and now, cherry on top, potentially add another one this year?
Extremely exciting. It took them 50 years to get back, and fortunately I was there last year to enjoy all that festivity. So I'm very proud of what they're doing, and very pleased that they're going to be in the game Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Curly, everyone knows the history of the National Football League, the merger, the AFL and NFL. You were a part of the Chiefs to win Super Bowl IV. The year before, done what was supposed to be the unbeatable Colts and Johnny Unitas and whatever, and then you took on the Purple People Eaters and the Vikings and Fran Tarkenton or Joe Kapp, and you won your game. Did you know then? Could you tell then that those two wins would set up the NFL to equalize, put everybody on equal footing even then?
No, not at all. My only concern was doing the things that we need to do, from a study standpoint to prepare for a game, and all that other came afterwards.
Frank Kush, Bum Phillips, Hank Stram. Those are three very emotional. Well, Bum's laid back in a way. He's just funny with the one-liners. But what was it like to play under Frank Kush?
Well, Frank Kush, came out of Michigan State, and so he under I forget the name of the coach at the time, but he played under. But he was very rugged. I think he was old-fashioned and as far as dealing with players and things of that nature. Some of the tactics that he used to motivate players when I was a collegiate would probably fit today's athlete. But he won. I mean, in fact, he won a lot of games. In fact, they named that stadium in Tempe after him. So he was remarkable to play for him, and he did a lot of good things for athletes coming in, given an opportunity to play football and get an education. So I really enjoyed that experience there at Arizona State. I'm from Arizona, from Yuma, Arizona, so being there in Tempe, Arizona was a great choice for me, and I enjoyed all my experiences there.
The stadium that's hosted a lot of Super Bowls, of course. Curly, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on your career and also the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Chiefs Hall of Fame. Good luck to the Chiefs Sunday, and thanks again.
Absolutely. Go Chiefs.
Yes, sir. Curly Culp, Hall of Fame defensive tackle, also played with the Oilers and the Lions, but won the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. When we come back, we'll be able to get, we're working on getting Sean King. Sean King, former Buccaneers quarterback, played at Tulane University, also played with the Cardinals, the Lions, the Colts, among others, but was a quarterback with the Buccaneers from 1999 to 2003, and part of a Super Bowl championship team, of course, as well. We'll have him momentarily as Armstrong Sims runs the mothership. Craig, who else is there today? Armstrong had the cavalry. He had everybody on stage with him yesterday.
Yeah, Jack and Rob are here today, so it's a little bit lighter, but we're in these newly remodeled, moved around studios. And removed around, I just created that phrase. But, we shook up the studios a little bit yesterday, or Colt and Armstrong and others did, and now there's a different look, but a lot more room than there was, certainly, because we don't have quite the full cast, but we've got enough, no doubt.
All right, good to know.
Well, it looks great. I saw the pictures that Colt posted. So
yeah, it looks like it's and they got areas now, a little workroom. They've got shelves where we could get some of the things off the ground, and it's great. It's a good idea. Great stuff with Colt Barber and company to help get that to where now it's even more presentable than ever before. It was already in great shape, of course, with Ashley and Brian and Colt and their vision of SicEm365 Radio. We'll have, by the way, Dave Mason, is that right, Paul, at 3:30 on the bets and all that's going on with the Super Bowl. Again, also, Warren Moon, Drew Bledsoe, Darryl Strawberry, among many others who will be a part of the show today, including former Cowboys and Broncos Super Bowl champion, and he will be in the Hall of Fame pretty quickly. DeMarcus Ware, who's eligible to be a part of the Hall of Fame, at least as a nominee starting next year. He'll be a first-time ballot opportunity for DeMarcus Ware, and he's going to join us today at 4:30. We're now joined by Sean King, former Buccaneers quarterback, and again, I mentioned as well, played with the Indianapolis Colts and Detroit and also the Cardinals. And Sean, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Always loved the way you played the game. What was it like, and what is it like now? You were a part of that Super Bowl team before, but now they're back and they're hosting the Super Bowl. What's it like? Your thoughts about what's going on with Tampa?
Well, let me just say it's 76 right now. The sun is out. We just planted, I think, 1 million palm trees. So, I mean, it's an amazing place to be. And the fact that our hometown team is playing in the Super Bowl makes it even more special.
Sean, you were the guy. I grew up in Florida, and I remember my early years when we first moved here, and the Buccaneers were not good in any way, shape, or form, and they couldn't find a quarterback. And you were the guy who kind of gave Bucs fans hope that, oh my gosh, somebody can come in and win here. What was that run like for you, kind of at the beginning of that Bucs run that eventually ended up in the Super Bowl?
It was special. I mean, anytime you get to play for the team you grew up rooting for in the area that you grew up, as a child and kind of developed into a young man, I mean, that's always special, because now those memories are with people that you've known for a long time. So, I mean, the organization has definitely been down way more than it's been up. But, I mean, hey, hats off to them. I mean, what they were able to do this year, going on the road 3 times in the playoffs and finding a way to beat future Hall of Famers and Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers, I mean, that's big. That's big time. And we got one more game to win, and a huge obstacle because the guy in Kansas City is better in 2021 than Drew or Aaron, in my opinion. So it's a huge obstacle, but I think the guys will be up for the challenge.
When Tampa decided to kind of go all in on this season, they go and they get Brady and then, of course, Gronk as well. Even just Brady, did you have these type of expectations? I know that's what the expectations were supposed to be. That's why you go get a Brady and a Gronk. But did you think that it was realistic they'd end up at this point?
Absolutely. They're the most talented team in the National Football League. I mean, when you look at it, they've got 2 number 1 wide receivers in Antonio Brown and Mike Evans. And forget what Antonio did off the field. As a player, when he's healthy, he's still a number 1. Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady. I mean, they went and got Leonard Fournette. Defensively, Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett, who led the league in sacks, LaFontae David, Devin Smith. I mean, we're loaded with talent. So, absolutely, it was the expectation. Having played in the NFL, I tell you, man, it's hard to get to this game. And so I think even though you have the best team or the most talented team, you still have to get some breaks. You still got to play at a high level. But, yes, to answer the question directly, yes, that was the expectation, after free agency as we went into the season, was this is a team that's capable of getting to the Super Bowl, and hopefully they can find a way to win it.
Sean, you were a part of a team at Tulane when Tommy Bowden was the head coach, Rich Rodriguez was the quarterback coach, and you went 12-0 that year. I remember that team. You were very, very good as a team and ran an offense that all of a sudden about that time started to become a hit, which now we see the spread is in so many different types of formations and ways. What was it like running that offense at the time?
Well, it was a lot of fun. They gave me a lot of responsibility, but I also had a lot of great players around me. And listen, I'll put that 99 Tulane team up against any college team in the history of college football. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but I just feel that confidently that we were good enough in a one-and-done situation to beat anybody that's ever played the game. And I truly believe that.
Yeah, and that was maybe you guys were one of the first teams that really had a claim to the debate that we're still fighting now in college football, right? Like you guys had that, look, we had all this. We just want one shot. Just that's all it is. And still the country club exists where schools like Tulane, no matter what, are not going to get that shot.
Absolutely. And I think we created the BCS, because what they did to us was we were undefeated, as you just mentioned, but about 8-0, no matter what happened in front of us and no matter what we did, how much we won by, they would not put us high enough to get into the conversation for that Final Four. So I think this year Cincinnati has that same argument. I mean, you looked at the game that Cincinnati gave Georgia, and I know he ultimately ended up losing, but you can't tell me that Cincinnati, you wouldn't think they could beat Notre Dame, who actually made, the Final Four this year. So, I do think there's still an issue when it comes to a non-Power 5 school actually making it to the tournament. UCF comes up a couple years ago, the team that beat Auburn in the Sugar Bowl. But, at some point, I think this thing will move to a 8 to 10 team tournament, and you'll really get a chance to see just in that year who the actual best team really is.
You mentioned 8 to team tournament. What would be your ideal scenario so that it ensures everybody has a chance and not just the Blue Bloods?
Well, I think every conference champion should get in. And then I think there should be 3 at-large berths, and that's where I think the 18 deal like makes sense, because I think now at UCF that's undefeated, or Cincinnati that's undefeated, back closer when I played at Boise State, that beat Oklahoma, those teams will actually get one of those 3 at-large berths. I truly believe that.
Sean, it's awesome. You mentioned it's 76 degrees. We're here in Tampa. We arrived on Tuesday night, and Paul and I
so y'all see,
yeah, it was a little bit unseasonably cool, chilly. But it's been beautiful. And now, as you can imagine, downtown where we are in the convention center and outside with all the big yachts and all the people are starting to kind of converge and have their big weekend. What does it mean to this city that has been so passionate despite some ups and downs throughout their years?
It means a lot. We had not won a playoff game since 2002 when we won the Super Bowl. And that's a long stretch, man. Here we sit in 2021. I mean, that's 19 years. So, I mean, the city's excited. I don't know if everybody knows this, but Tampa's considered a town that nobody leaves. If you visit or you come for any reason, you like it so much that you find a way to ultimately make it home.
Well, Sean,
I know you guys are thinking that. When you guys leave there today, you're gonna walk down the Riverwalk and you're gonna see that beautiful water, and you're gonna look at your calendar. It's gonna say February. And you'll be like, man, this is nice.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, look, Sean, I used to live here, and I moved, and I do have it like as soon as we landed, I was like, oh, I feel good. I felt home. So,
man, it's just one of those places. And it's a testament to the people. The people here are really nice. They're very accommodating. They're very friendly. It has a little bit of everything for anybody. So the city's done a great job so far of putting on a great week, and in spite of tough conditions. But, everybody's, having a good time. But ultimately, we're focused on Sunday. Let's get to Sunday. Let's find a way, because no one remembers who lost the Super Bowl. We got to win this thing, or none of the other stuff matters.
Sean, how do you see this Tampa defense just trying to, contain, I guess is the word? You're not going to completely stop them. I doubt the Kansas City offense, but just what do you see in this matchup?
Well, I think the first thing you got to watch is, with everything that they've had going on the offensive line, from injuries, COVID, all the different pieces moving around, you're talking Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul, 2 of the elite rushers in the game of football. So can they dominate from that standpoint? That'll be the first thing I'll look at, because, Kansas City doesn't have all their bullets on their offensive line. They're missing some key components, and when you're playing elite pass rushers like Tampa has, that's an issue. That's something you got to account for. So if those guys can get a lot of pressure with 4 guys early in the game, they're going to kind of force Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid to make some adjustments, and that's what you want. You want the other team trying to adjust and prevent you from doing something that you're excelling at. And hopefully that leads to Mahomes maybe throwing a couple balls, 50-50 balls, and we got to figure out how to catch them, create some turnovers.
How good is Devin White?
Well, he's the fastest linebacker I've seen, not named Derrick Brooks. Like, that's who he reminds me of. And Derrick Brooks is a Hall of Famer. I had the chance to play with him. He was a sideline guy. Like, it's amazing. Once Devin, decides that he's going to make a tackle, the pace with which he gets to the ball carrier is elite. And not a lot of guys have that. And he's bringing, I think Devin's 235, 240-ish. So it's definitely not a friendly conversation when he gets there. So he has a huge impact. He's somebody you got to account for. Because he makes you right when other things aren't necessarily perfect.
Craig, anything else for Sean King?
Sean, what's your prediction for the game this Sunday?
Well, here's what I want to happen. I want it to be a shootout. Like, I want to see Brady and Mahomes just going back and forth and making play after play, and, an exciting game. But I really think that the defenses are going to have their quarters. So I'm going to say Bucs win 27-24 in the game that comes down to late in the fourth quarter, and hopefully Brady's experience pulls us through.
Thank you very much. Hey, Sean, thanks for jumping on. Your area right here in Tampa, with the high school in St. Petersburg at Gibbs High School, played at Tulane, and with the Buccaneers. Thanks for your time, and have a great weekend.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Sean King, 4 years with Tampa, was a part of their Super Bowl 37, I think it was. Also a year with the Cardinals, a year with the Lions, a year with the Colts, and then played 1 year in the Canadian Football League with Hamilton, the Tiger Cats. He was on the Charlie Strong staff at South Florida, of course. Charlie Strong now. Paul, is he at Alabama?
Mm-hmm.
Is he back at Alabama? Not
no,
back.
He's now with Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer, excuse me, with the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, and boy, that's a great question about how they were a part of that 12-0 team. And yet, that was 1998, and here we are, golly, 20-something years later, and it's still the same issue. And that's 20-something years. It's never going to change until they either increase the number of teams in the playoff or those who are not a part of the Power Five have their own national championship tournament. When we come back, we will hear from Dave Mason, betonline.com, on the odds with Super Bowl 55 and much more. Some of the more strange odds that are there. Also today, DeMarcus Ware, as I mentioned, Warren Moon, Drew Bledsoe. Those are in the 4 o'clock hour. SicEm365 Radio in Tampa.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
"2020 made you tough. Now get a tough SUV to match." There's a reason Allen Samuels has been a Customer First Excellence Award winner for 3 consecutive years. Stop by and check out the friendly, courteous sales staff, world-class facility, and top-ranked Jeep inventory. Get $6,750 in values on a new Jeep Renegade or $4,000 in total values on the new Tough as Nails Jeep Gladiator Sport and Oberlin. Experience firsthand the Start Something New sales event at Allen Samuels and check them out at allensamuelsdcj.com. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online, pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
We've sent the nomination forms to area high school counselors for the 11th annual Academic All-Stars team, and we will find 20 elite student athletes who excel in both academic and athletic competition from Central Texas high schools. Hello, everyone. This is David Smoak. Our title sponsor is Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting Texans since 1952. The 2021 Academic All-Stars program is also brought to you by Westdale Asset Management, Englander Design Pack, Southwest Sports Medicine, Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Coca-Cola of Waco, Ray Broker Air Conditioning and Heating, Texas Sports Hall of Fame, HEB, the McLean Group, Universal Windows Direct, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, and the Waco Foundation are 501c3. Nomination deadlines March 31st. We'll eventually announce the team on Monday, May 3rd, honor them at our annual banquet on Wednesday, May the 19th. It's the 11th annual Academic All-Stars team highlighting the elite student athletes in Central Texas right here on SicEm365 Radio.
to SicEm365 Radio.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
All right, here we go. SicEm365 Radio and Dave Mason, betonline.com, will join us in a moment to talk about some of the best bets, the game straight up, the kind of how much money is being poured into the various places to, if you want the the Chiefs, or you want the Bucks, who throws the first pass, touchdown, the kickoff return, all that. There's so many different angles of what he will get into. Mm-hmm. And Dave Mason, we got him?
Yeah, no, not yet.
Okay.
So he's actually calling us from out of the country. So our show's coming to you from many other places today. So
from out of the country?
Yeah, out of the country.
All right. Well, we'll get to that from him in just a second. Again, also, I saw this, and I talked to someone within Baylor Athletics about Craig, I'm not sure if you saw this. Eric Mateos had a shot of like the bars, the weights at the end of a bench or a whatever, maybe even a incline or squats. And apparently, Giancarlo Valentine, who did not play last year, he's coming back. It would be, I think, his 6th year. Craig, did you already know that? That was something I was already reported, or I just now saw that?
No, it wasn't something I even really gave a whole lot of thought to because I don't know. I guess he got lost in the names of all the other guys. I mean, with this extra year and so many players having the opportunity to make a decision, like there's not like as though there's a group that's you're just solely focused in on, right? It's the entire team basically. So because of that, I mean, I tried to think of players who, maybe didn't have great years or maybe did have all their eligibility used up and had their degrees that could move on. I don't know. But, yeah, as far as the mix of guys, I remember him being mentioned but wasn't quite sure what his fate would be. But he's back. That's great news. They're clearly going to need to do a lot on that offensive line to have a change of direction in success next season. So we'll see what he does under Eric Mateos and Jeff Grimes and he and others as well.
Also, it doesn't appear that anything has really changed. Remember, Blake Bettier was pretty much thinking about giving it up. That's not been official yet, but there doesn't seem to be any new anything that changes what might be what he was going to do and not play, but they're trying to work through that. We're now joined by Dave Mason, betonline.com. And there are so many things, from how long the national anthem might be sung or a kickoff return for a touchdown. Dave, let's get straight into it. Has this been a very heavy week? First of all, the Super Bowl is a massive event. We know that. You have Brady, Mahomes, two good teams that are hot. Has it been a busy week for Vegas and also those who are taking the bets?
We're 100% online, so yeah, it's been busy, really busy for us. We're not brick and mortar, so we're not dependent on all the COVID regulations and restrictions and all that stuff. So the brick and mortar guys, I feel for them a little bit. They might be down a little bit, but we're 100% online, so the action is awesome. We're trending to be. Last year was our biggest Super Bowl in the history of BetOnline. We've been in business for about 20 years, and we're about 15% ahead of the pace this year.
Dave, for you guys this week, where are you seeing the line moving as you get to, or the bets going as we get closer to kickoff in less than 2 days?
Right. We opened Chiefs -3. We went to -3.5 for a blip. Buccaneers, sharp action was on the Buccaneers at +3.5. Went down to -3 pretty much right away, and that's where it's been since early last week. 68% of the cash is still on the Chiefs. I think the Buccaneer bettors, a lot of them are waiting, seeing if they can get +3.5 again. So I think the Buccaneers actually will come in late. Over under, about 64% of the action is on the over. That one keeps going down too. There has been some sharp action on under 57, under 56, and this morning under 56.5, and then this morning under 56. So it's currently 55.5.
How much success have people had betting on the Chiefs typically and betting on, them reaching certain totals or obviously covering the spread with the success and explosion that they have? Is that a team that you see a lot of people betting on regularly?
Well, they bet on them big time, and they're a huge public team, right? Those teams that always win people are betting on them every week, but they're not covering. So I think they're 8-10 against the spread this year. So, we kind of like that. They're friends that bet online. There's teams that are good and they're very public teams, but they're not covered. Unlike, you remember that a few years ago in that Patriots team, they were just smoking everybody, and I think they failed to cover 2 games all season. They absolutely killed us because the players were on them every weekend, and they were covering every weekend. They smoked us, but the Chiefs has been good for us.
What I know there have to be many, but what are some of the more unique bets, Dave, that people can make?
Oh man, we got a ton. We pride ourselves in all our unique stuff. We really take it seriously, even though it's not serious. Jason Pierre-Paul, we just put this one up 2 nights ago, and people love it. Jason Pierre-Paul, of course, he had that accident a couple of years ago when the fireworks accident and lost a few fingers. So we have what will be higher is tackles and assists or fingers on his right hand. So that one's a little dark, but people love it. Then just all the Bruce Arians. We have a nostril matchup. Whose nostrils are we going to see first? Bruce Arians or Andy Reid? Bruce Arians is the favorite. Andy Reid. I think that thing was nailed to his head on conference championship game. Yeah. So if you want to bet on 2 old guys, old heavyweight guys, old heavy overweight guys' nostrils, we got it for you. You know what I mean?
You guys are Bet Online. You guys kind of the you guys really roll these prop bets though. Do you kind of enjoy coming up with those?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's a lot of fun, and the players love it too. They expect it from me every Super Bowl, and some books stay away from that stuff. Some books can't do it due to different regulations, but we can do it, and our bettors love it. It gets our juices flowing, and people love talking about it. So it puts betonline.ag out there.
So I'm just curious from a creative perspective how you come up with a lot of these. I mean, I'm sure some are kind of, pretty simple to come up with or whatever, but like the nostrils and things like that. I mean, is it just you brainstorming, or is it just something that comes to you on occasion and they all add up? Like, kind of how does that work?
It's a bunch of us. We have a really good creative marketing team here, and we love creativity and doing different stuff. So, it's just watching, that nostrils one. I was just watching the game and masks, and then I was remembering that Andy Reid had a shield, and he was having problems with that, and it's just these coaches always have problems with these masks. Who's going to have issues with it first? Okay, well, how are you going to grade that? Well, the grade is going to be whose nostrils do we see first. So, or another one like the other night. The other night I was watching the news. I have no idea why I was watching the regular news. I thought I was over that in November, but I was watching it, and they were talking about, Trump's trial and all this stuff, and they were talking about how many senators are going to convict him, and they were talking about 54, 55, and I was like, well, that's pretty much what the Super Bowl total is. So that's a matchup. That's a prop. What's going to be more? Total points scored in the Super Bowl, or how many senators convict Trump, vote to convict Trump. So, it's just always thinking, always seeing what's in the news, and just there's always a number attached to everything. So, it's just a matter of coming up with something people are going to like, and something that's buzzworthy and not too difficult to grade for us.
What is the impending, and then now that the United States government has finally said yes, or at least the Supreme Court has said yes on sports betting across the country, what does that long term mean for you guys once the federal government decides what they're going to do to regulate it?
I mean, right now, business is great. I can only speak for right now. Business is awesome. More people are betting than ever. And, competition's great, too. The competition's awesome. The more books, the better. It brings us to a next level. We're always looking for the new big thing, get out of your comfort zone, and always trying to improve your product and hoping your odds up earlier and all trying to get a competitive advantage. But the thing is, more people, it's not that taboo subject anymore. It was for years ago, oh, my God, they're betting. That's the people couldn't talk about it on the sports shows. There's always a wink kind of thing, and it's so taboo. And now the odds are everywhere. There's always such hypocrisy behind it, but now everybody's talking about it. Now people, okay, it's not a bad thing to put $20 on the Super Bowl. Bet within your means and have some fun with it. So more people are betting than ever before. So it's great for business.
Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan are going to sing the national anthem. Does a duet mean it's shorter or longer, or how does that affect what you think?
Well, it's funny you just asked that because I just tweeted about this. Every year, it's a very popular prop, but it's very difficult for us to book because every year they have a dress rehearsal or whatever, and every year there's a security guard or someone there that's getting paid money by some wise guy somewhere, and he has a stopwatch out, and he times it. He relays that information, and that wise guy relays it to his syndicates or whatever, and all the books get hammered on either the over or on the under, depending on this intel. And that just happened within a half hour ago. All these max bets were coming in on the over. We had it over. We moved it from 157 to 2 minutes earlier today because there was some kind of little funny betting patterns, and then within the last half hour, we got an onslaught of max bets on the over. We kept on raising the odds from 2 minutes to 2 minutes and 7 seconds, and people were still betting over. So we're going to close it for now. We're going to reopen it tomorrow. We're going to let do our own research, contact our own contacts, but it's always a challenge. It's always funny. I want to figure out who these security guards are and pay them a little bit extra money next year.
Yeah, you gotta have.
I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna apply for the job. It's in LA next year. Monday. I'm sending them my resume. All I need
Absolutely.
I don't need a gun. Just give me a stopwatch. That's all I need.
So, Dave, again, right now, betonline.com. Right now, what is the actual spread, and what is the over/under?
3 points. Chiefs -3. 67% of the cash, I believe, is on the Chiefs -3. Sharp action. Buccaneers +3.5. The total's 55.5, 64% is on the over.
Wow, that's amazing. Hey, thank you so much, man. Great stuff. Always love the day before being able to kind of figure out what's going on at betonline_@AG and _AG. Betonline.ag with Dave Mason with some of the bets, the odds. Super Bowl 55 Chiefs and also the Buccaneers. All right, we're going to come back with a couple of notes at 4 o'clock. Warren Moon at 4:50. At 4:30, a lengthy conversation with former Cowboys and Super Bowl champion DeMarcus Ware with the Broncos. His thoughts about many things from fitness to the Broncos to the Cowboys to what the Cowboys defenses look like to being maybe one day a part of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. All of that. Plus, how about this? Darryl Strawberry from Tampa. He'll join us at 5, and we're nearly, almost 45 minutes into 3 hours from Tampa and Waco on SicEm365 Radio. At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance, and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation. Want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
And we're back here on SicEm365 Radio. Smokey and Paul Catalina on Radio Row in Tampa. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing good.
I'm still trying to figure this out. The Dodgers have how many starting pitchers?
All of the starting pitchers. How many are there in the league?
7.
They have 7. They're unbelievable. They've got Trevor Bauer now, who probably moves up to the number 1 ahead of Clayton Kershaw, so you can go righty-lefty all the way through with Bauer, Kershaw, Walker Buehler, David Price, Julio Urias, Dustin May. I mean, there's somebody I'm leaving out there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and he gets $40 million this year, $45 next year, and on top of that, he can opt out. And so how about the Dodgers, who went all in last year to finally win it, right, after the long drought since 1988, beat the Rays. And then we're in the city of Tampa. The Rays play in the World Series. The Bucks are in the Super Bowl. The Lightning won the Stanley Cup. They need to bring an NBA team here where they had the bubble.
They're a long way away. Orlando, the Orlando Magic are a long way away from catching any of this Tampa magic juice they've got right now.
So that's interesting to me. And of course, also, one note about the Super Bowl. The Chiefs, remember earlier in the week, there was the story about Demarcus Robinson was in that COVID list. He's been activated, but Antonio Brown is listed as questionable for Sunday's game against Kansas City. So it's good that Patrick Mahomes is getting one of his, of course, guys, his weapons back. Eric Fisher and Willie Gay are the ones who are out, the offensive linemen we've talked quite a bit about. Craig, has there been much buzz? I don't know how much, whether you go home, watch much of what's going on. I know you do a lot of stuff with documentaries, a lot of writing, whatever. Has there been, can you feel any buzz at all around the country with this Super Bowl?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I don't know. I'm not, like you said, I'm not sitting there watching SportsCenter as soon as I go home or, checking out NFL Live or whatever. So, I'm not, I don't know. I feel like people are excited, but it's just, like everything else, it's different. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't think there's going to be as many Super Bowl parties this year, and people aren't getting there's going to be some, but, maybe not to the level that they typically would be. I think people are excited about the matchup. I definitely think people are excited about Chiefs and Patriots, Bucks. I'm never going to stop doing that. Chiefs and Bucks and Brady, Mahomes, and just the level of talent. KC's offense is so dynamic, but Tampa's defense is so good. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but I don't know. It kind of, just like everything else this year, like I said, just seems to be missing a little bit of that edge that it would typically have. But I think by the time Sunday rolls around, everybody gets settled in, there'll be, millions upon millions of people, as always, tuned in to see who's going to be the Super Bowl champion this year.
You wonder if there'll be more because everyone pretty much, it's not because let's say an extra 500,000 people would come into Tampa during this weekend. Maybe it's more than that, I don't know, or 50,000. But you wonder if the numbers will be higher because of, first of all, it's a hell of a game. It's intriguing with Brady and Mahomes, or is it going to be even higher because it's kind of 9-10 months into this start of what was COVID, and it's the culmination of the NFL, which never missed a weekend, never missed a game, right?
I'll tell you what, think about what it's going to be like on Monday when football's done. Like, done. I mean, we lost college football. We've had the NFL playoffs, and now the NFL is going to come to a close. Now, of course, this transitions into spring football and covering that and hopefully being able to cover that this year, unlike in 2020. Obviously the draft as well will be a big highlight, but that's going to be different with a lack of, or whatever pro days are going to look like, and the combine being different than it typically is. But, yeah, football's about to end, and it kind of, I don't know, it kind of crept up on me a little bit. I don't know if it's like that for everybody else, but I all of a sudden realized, like, oh, shoot, on Monday there's not going to be football. But we do have, the JUCOs, and there's going to be some college football to an extent, just not the Power Fives and, the Group of Fives that we saw last fall.
Well, UMHB and the Division IIIs and all that. Wouldn't it be interesting all of a sudden if the Big Ten started playing this weekend or next weekend?
Yeah.
Because if they would have held back like the Pac-12 did as well, and then eventually said, okay, wait a minute, everyone else is still they're going to do this. We need to join. But, yeah, the end of football, you're right. And it's hard in a normal situation, much less when you're talking about what we did. We didn't know high school football. The UIL did an amazing job. The NCAA, in the end, they got it in. And then the NFL, they found a way. They just kept grinding, and here we are playing for a championship.
Yeah, the NFL had the benefit also of the other leagues and everything that they did, and they were very smart about watching them and saying, like, okay, how do we avoid this? How do we do this? How do we make this work for us? And at first, I thought their policies were going to be a lot. It's like, this is kind of risky. I mean, there's no bubble, there's no separation, but it was more on that, like, the honor system. Hey, you've got to. This is how you have to live your life. Now, part of the honor system also, probably helps in a lot of cities that, there are times where guys would go out to strip clubs and things like that, and they're closed in a lot of places. Now, Dwayne Haskins found one, but, they
what a great decision that was in hindsight, too. Like, can you imagine him? Oh, man. It was a nearly number one overall pick and worth millions, and he's still got millions in the bank, I assume. But yeah, why'd your career in Washington end? I went to the strip club during a pandemic with my girl, or I had a strip club over to my house, whatever that situation was exactly. But yeah, that was a bad look.
But they've handled it well. Now I'm a little different than most football fans, and I never lament the end of the season. I welcome the end of the season because it gives us time to miss it, so we don't get tired of it. I think people there'll be people, you'll see it online, or you'll run into people and they'll be like, oh, I can't believe football's over. You're like, well, you'll be that much more excited.
I like the way you positioned that. It made sense because I've heard it before about the season ended, and I just thought, okay, listen, everything has to have a cycle. If you're a huge college basketball fan, at the end of the first weekend in April, it starts, you go through your ups and downs, or whether it's baseball. But yeah, you give it yourself a chance to breathe and then miss it. But the NFL has made it very clear. They are now a 12-month-a-year league. Because they go straight from whatever they're going to do. Of course, the combine is different, or is completely different. And then you get into a lot of free agency, then you get the draft, and then you get the mini camps, and then you're back into it. And I hope, as Craig said, that we'll have spring drills to cover, not just at Baylor, but around the country as well. And that's what kind of sucks about the news yesterday with Baylor men's basketball, with the game Saturday being postponed against TCU, the game next Wednesday with Oklahoma on the road. road being postponed, and who knows down the road as well, because you go straight from the NFL into college basketball, into the start of baseball, and it's always kind of like it's just to turn the page.
So I have a question. Do you, through your sources or anybody that you guys have talked to, do you have any inclination of how this outbreak occurred? Because, I mean, I do see that they go down to Austin after Texas is fresh off of Shaka Smart basically being, sick to all hell. I mean, he said he had major symptoms, and then 2 days later, they're sitting there with a breakout of some sort. So is there, like we did this with football, we're like, hey, where do you think this outbreak occurred? It's like, well, the travel between West Virginia and Waco, that was what they had kind of identified.
Yep.
And I don't know. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying, like, it's just awfully weird timing that they've been so good about this, and then they go down to Austin where there was clearly a problem recently. They get that big win, and now here we are, and they might not play for over a week.
Yeah, no, there's no question that
with more fans in attendance in Austin, by the way, as well.
There's 2,500 or so were there. They have had nobody. UT coming off their flare-up. And there's also the common denominator of also what Mack Rhodes brought up with Baylor football when they had the issue following West Virginia, is the size of the locker rooms. And the one in Austin, and probably the one in most places, the visiting locker room is more cramped than it is, of course, in your spacious home locker room or what you have, whatever sport it might be. But again, this is more than half of the roster that is caught up in this with the people who are positive, and also the players or others within the program with contact tracing. But that's a small locker room going down on the road. So you have road trip, small locker room, and playing against a team that just came off some issues. And, as you said, the fans in the stand. And I wonder if and we know why they did that. They thought there's a chance they're going to win the game. Hey, let's put 2,500 in there. And the first 500, I think, they walked in the door wearing green and gold because the Baylor fans were traveling.
I wasn't complaining about the fans. I thought it was a funny thing and very expected on UT's part that they would be welcoming in all these fans just all of a sudden when Baylor's about to come to town. But when your head coach looks like he's still sick with COVID, practically, and it clearly is still recovering from COVID, and then you announce that this is the time to bring in 2,500 more people, it's just and then the small locker rooms, as you said, and it's just a recipe for disaster. And hindsight's 2020. I mean, this is just part of any road trip, and it wouldn't matter if Shaka had been, without COVID, or anybody on Texas had been without COVID. This still could have occurred. So I'm not pointing a finger at UT, but man, what a problematic little spell when you look back on it.
Yeah, and too bad we can't look forward to that stretch with, as we mentioned, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, West Virginia. When we come back, Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon. Also after that, Drew Bledsoe on SierraDelta.com. And then after that, DeMarcus Ware, former Cowboys and Denver Broncos Super Bowl champion with Denver. I always have to specifically separate that, and he'll one day be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We're live in Tampa. Paul Catalina, I'm David Smoak, Craig Smoak, and Armstrong, and the rest of everybody else at SicEm365 in studio in Waco. This is SicEm365 Radio.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Learn
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
It's a new year. Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Hi, this is David Smoak, including what you'll need to watch the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl. Ribs, sausage, links, brisket, chicken wings, bags of various snacks, and customized appetizer trays. Don't forget to order something now for the perfect home-cooked Valentine's Day dinner, which is closer than you think, including combo packs with ribeyes, fillets, and lobster tails. Live crawfish season is just around the corner. Absolutely the right time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Waco Custom Marketplace, your family meat market, butcher shop and bakery with everything baked fresh with old-fashioned farmers market atmosphere. Serving Waco restaurants and families since 1940. Your one-stop shop for beef, pork, poultry, and seafood needs. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Waco's newest gym, Halo Athletic Center, 5725 Bagby Avenue, right behind Region 12 and across the highway from the Central Texas Marketplace, where motivation, inspiration, and hard work are the driving force. State-of-the-art equipment, indoor and outdoor track, locker rooms, showers, yoga and bar classes by Duality Yoga, Bod Pod potty composition analysis, and registered dietitians, all under one roof, where we rise above. Come join the Halo Athletic Center and be a part of the change. Your change.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Held the Rams to 2 for 8. Brady floats it. He's got Evans. What a throw.
The presenting sponsor of Super Bowl 55 coverage from Tampa, Florida on SicEm365 Radio is Marco's Pizza. Pizza for pizza lovers with locations in Woodway, China Spring, and Belmead.
Mahomes in trouble, able to load it, and gets the completion at the 49 to Kelsey again.
Also brought to you by IdealMRI.com, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Waco Custom Marketplace, Boozer's Jewelers, Stonewood Dental, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac.
Lobs it up in the air to Kelsey. No one near him.
Edward Jones Financial Advisors, Petty Clinic Low T, Pioneer Steel and Pipe, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, and Impact Health Labs. Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
I try to, whenever we introduce one of our guests, to kind of put together a summary of what they did during their career. And it would take me an hour, longer than the open you just heard with our sponsors of our Super Bowl coverage with Warren Moon. Of course, 5-time Grey Cup champion, numerous records with the Oilers and more, 9-time Pro Bowl, All-Pro, Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. So much to get to. And, of course, I mentioned the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Warren, do you ever get tired of hearing all the things you accomplished? Is it like past long enough now that since you played it, that does it still matter to you?
Yeah, it still does matter. There's no question about it. It's something I'm very, very proud of, something I worked very hard to accomplish. A lot of those things weren't even goals of mine. You know, I don't think anybody has a goal to make it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame or the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame, but if your career kind of takes you in that direction because of your success, that kind of puts you in line for those types of things. But I just wanted to be the best quarterback that I could be, and I wanted to be one of the best quarterbacks playing at the time that I was playing. and I was able to do that. So that's something I'm very, very proud of, because a lot of people didn't even think I could play the position when I came out of college.
It's interesting you bring that up. I wanted to ask you how you felt about the Eric Bieniemy situation and things were going, but you were a trailblazer. You were an African-American quarterback in a time where there weren't very many African-American quarterbacks. How much of a burden was that, especially in the late 70s and early 80s?
It was one, believe it or not, and it was something that I felt. It was something Doug Williams felt when he was playing at the same time as me. Same thing with Randall Cunningham. We felt like we had to play very, very well at a high level in order to give other African Americans more opportunities, because we just weren't getting a lot of opportunities to play the position. So we felt like every time we went out, we had to play at a top level in order to, to kind of change the mindset of these owners and general managers that, hey, these guys can play the game at a very high level, and we were able to do that. So that's something, again, that we're proud of, that we played a small part in the change of what you see going on today. But it was something that we went on the field with, knowing that not only we had to play well for our team and our organization, but we had to play well for our people, because our people, African-American people, were counting on us to do well.
Warren, what's it like to look across the league now and see Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, the list goes on, staying with that same theme? And, obviously there's still more to be done, still more work to be done, but it has changed somewhat. Does that make you proud in some ways to see that there is more representation?
Oh, no question about it. I stick my chest out every Sunday when I see these guys out there performing at such a high level, and they're being endorsed. Every other commercial is one of these guys on television. I mean, they're some of the highest paid players in the game. So all those things are that shows that we've come a long way as far as that position is concerned. Because to me, it's the most important position and the most influential position in team sports, playing quarterback in the National Football League. So for these guys to be doing what they're doing, yeah, it's something that I'm really proud of, and glad these guys are doing it the way they're doing it. And they're also using their voices, to talk about other things going on with social justice and things going on in their communities. That's something I'm really proud these guys have been able to use their voices for that as well.
You played into your 40s, halfway into your 40s. So what are your thoughts about how Tom Brady's playing in his 40s?
I'm just not so much astonished, because I know how the guy takes care of himself. I know how he eats. I know how he trains. I just don't understand where he keeps getting the motivation to keep going out there to want to keep winning more championships. Because I tell you what, if I had 6 championships and I was that age, I probably would have retired by now. But the guy's already talking about next year and being better next year, and I don't know what drives him to keep wanting to exceed at this level, because I feel bad if he doesn't go out the way he needs to go out. I want the guy to go out a pure winner. I don't want him to go out with a bad season or something like that. John Elway, I think, went out the most amazing way. He won a Super Bowl and retired right after that. That's the best way to go out of the game. And I'm hoping Tom can do that too, because he deserves to go out that way. But if he keeps playing like this, chances are it's not gonna happen like that. He's gotten so much, and he's achieved so much. His legacy is so strong right now, but more power to him. He wants to keep playing.
What are your thoughts on Deshaun Watson and his situation in Houston right now?
It's unfortunate that situation has become so ugly, because Deshaun is a great player. We all have seen that, but he's also a better person off the field, and he's a great representative for that organization and for the city of Houston. But it's unfortunate that these two sides cannot get together and be on the same page as far as how they want to go forward with that organization. So Deshaun wants to move on, and I'm sure the team wants to keep him, because you just don't find Deshaun Watson's walking around the street, and it doesn't matter what you get in a trade, you're not going to get anything that equals what this player is right now at this stage of his career. So I hope it doesn't get much uglier than it already is right now. And hopefully both sides can be happy when this thing is all over. But it doesn't look like he's going to play in Houston anymore.
Warren, I was just curious about this. You played in other places, obviously Minnesota, the Seahawks, the Chiefs. But your history is with the Titans technically, but Houston does have a franchise. Do you I guess, relate more to the Titans organization, or do you relate to the Texans in some ways because of their location?
Yeah, I relate to the Texans because of their location and some of the relationships I have. Like, Deshaun and I are close friends, but there's no question that the Titans are where my history is, because that's where all my records are, and the Titans are actually the Houston Oilers that just moved there and changed their name. So my number is retired there. It's up in their Wall of Fame and all that. So that's where my identity is as far as being a Houston Oiler, even though I never played there before. It's kind of weird.
5 times you dominated the Canadian Football League, and that was part of what you dealt with, what you were discussing as an African-American quarterback, as a black quarterback coming out of the University of Washington, where you were fantastic there as well. And you dominated that league like maybe nobody ever has. What was that like at the time? But did you feel like, even though you were with, that there was still an empty feeling because it was not the NFL?
Yeah, it was bittersweet. The thing that erases some of the disappointment of not being able to go in the NFL right out of college was that we were winning, and we were winning championships. And I was playing with a great group of guys, and we had a great fan base up there that really loved our football team. So that makes you not think about the other things that you wish were going on in your life. And the only time I really thought about it a lot is when I would watch a game on television. Like, if we didn't have a game, or when our season was over, the NFL was still going on. So I'm watching games on TV, and I'm going, I can play with these guys. I know I can play with these guys, but just not getting the opportunity to do it. So that's the part that was kind of bittersweet. But as I look back at it, having won 5 championships in a row, no other pro team has done that in any sport since that time. So that's something that's very special that I'll always have in my safety deposit box, and a great group of guys up there. My first son was born in Canada, so just all great positive memories about being up there. But yeah, there's no question, as a kid coming out of college and having dreams and goals of playing in the NFL, you would have liked it to happen coming out of college, but it wasn't in the cards for me, so I had to go with the opportunity that was presented to me and make the most of it.
Former Baylor quarterback Cody Carlson was your backup. He's a frequent guest on our show. He's always hilarious when we have him on. What was the quarterback room like back in the Oilers days with Cody Carlson?
It was a good room. Cody was very knowledgeable and, like you said, very funny. And Kevin Gilbride was our offensive coordinator. So the three of us, we had a very, very good working relationship. And Cody helped me a lot when I wasn't when he wasn't playing, and when he was playing, and say if I was hurt or something like that, I tried to help him as much as I possibly could as well. So that's what teammates do. It doesn't matter who's the one playing. You want to make sure you support the guy that's out there, and because everything you do is for the team. So we had that type of relationship, and it was good.
Warren, you played for the Chiefs the last couple of years in the league. Did you have a sense of pride in seeing them do what they did last season, and obviously what they've turned that into this season as well?
Yeah, I'm still really close with the organization there. It was a great football environment for me to end my career in, because I had played there many times, and it was a very difficult place to play, but I also enjoyed playing there in front of that crowd. I mean, it's 80,000 people all in red, and they really get into their Chiefs football team. So to see the success they're having now, especially with the ownership group that they had in place there with Lamar Hunt and now his son taking over, they deserve to be having this type of success because of what they've meant to the league. Lamar Hunt is the one who even came up with the term Super Bowl way back when, and you see what it's turned into. So I'm happy for the organization, and they've got a great shot to repeat on Sunday because they're that good a football team.
Warren, thank you very much. Anything else, Craig, Paul, for Warren Moon?
Nope, good.
You thought Craig has asked this before. So you have the young phenom in Patrick Mahomes coming off a win, and then Tom Brady has the 6, and what a year it's been for Tampa Bay. Do you have an idea, Warren, on how this game might play out?
The only thing that concerns me for Kansas City is that, their left tackle, Eric Fisher, is out, and they've had to move some offensive linemen around. You just don't want to do that this late in the year. But other than that, I think Kansas City still has more speed and more firepower than Tampa Bay does. And because Patrick Mahomes is so versatile. You don't have to drop him back in the pocket and put a lot of pressure on that offensive line. You can play action with him. You can move him outside, roll him out. You can bootleg and do different things where Tampa's not going to always know where he's going to be, and he has really good mobility. So that's going to help him as far as the weaknesses in their offensive line. But it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think Kansas City pulls it out something like 35-31.
Warren, thank you as always, sir, for being a part of the show. Thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me on. You guys enjoy the weekend, okay?
Yes, sir. You too. That's Warren Moon, Pro Football Hall of Fame, Canadian Football Hall of Fame, 5-time Grey Cup champion, 9-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro during one of those years. NFL MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, AFC Player of the Year, Walter Payton Man of the Year, all sorts of records as well. So,
how many yards do you think he'd throw for in today's game?
Oh, my God.
Warren Moon?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it would, like, all Sports Center would be like, I don't know what they're going to do about Warren Moon. You can't stop Warren Moon. He's just whipping it all over the yard.
Yeah, he would be putting up the crazies, you know.
Yeah.
He would be putting up Aaron Rodgers type week in and week out. You talk about a rocket arm and as accurate as he could possibly be. The only thing that he always struggled with, and I don't know if it's because the offensive line struggled or because he was always trying to wait that last second to make a throw, was he fumbled a lot. He got hit quite a bit, but my goodness. And as you mentioned, Paul, I said, did he ever get close to a Super Bowl? And, of course, they had that destructive loss to Buffalo in the 35-3 lead and then lost the game when Steve Christie kicked the field goal. Moon threw an overtime pick in that game. So, yeah, he would throw for 350, 400 yards a game. And he was mobile, too. He was mobile. He was a very good athlete. He could run.
Yeah, his arm was so great. It's one of those things that's weird, and you hear him tell the story about how, there was a time where people just thought that black quarterbacks were not good or that they didn't belong at that position. And then you, watch. Idiot is watching this guy throw a ball and going, nope, not for me.
Yeah.
I mean, and not what idiot, what 32 idiots for a while. Yeah. I mean, seriously, 32 teams were like, go play in Canada.
Actually, 32 idiot franchises, but the GMs, the personnel people, the scouts, the coaches, the head.
Who was going go to Canada?
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, he did, and then he still had plenty of time. And sometimes if you add his time together, he throws for 70,000 yards because of what he did in the Canadian Football League with the Edmonton. And I used to watch him. That was something I used to watch back when they were whatever. I guess it was probably on ESPN at the time. All right, coming up next, Warren Moon never actually played in a Super Bowl. He was close but didn't get to. Drew Bledsoe was in 2 and won it, remember, during that bittersweet year when he got hurt. And they had to make the decision with Tom Brady. And then we know the rest of that, or not the rest is history. Well, everything since that moment is history. He is very insightful. There was a documentary about Drew Bledsoe on ESPN by Jeremy Schaap that really dives into Drew Bledsoe, how much that year hurt him, how bitter it was, and yet now he's come to peace with it. His wine business, SierraDelta.com, when it comes to dogs, service dogs for our veterans. Drew Bledsoe, and then former Cowboys great and Broncos Super Bowl champion DeMarcus Ware. Still to come, the 4 o'clock hour in Tampa and in Texas. SicEm365 Radio.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jeweler, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
MP Electric has developed a quality-oriented electrical contracting service in more than 20 years in the industry. Led by President Mark Perry, our electricians go through a 5-year apprenticeship program, are licensed by the state of Texas, and getting continuous education annually upon renewal. In great part, the success of MP Electric lies with its management and professional expertise of its employees. All of our employees share a dedication to quality and commitment to serving the needs of our customers. For new construction and remodels, parking lot, lighting and surge protection, landscape lights, security lights, troubleshooting and repairs. For industrial manufacturing, food and beverage, paper and publishing, heavy industry, cement and rock crushing plants, water distribution plants, and utilities. For 20 years, MP Electric has serviced industrial, commercial, and residential products. We do service right. MP Electric Inc. at 1890 Galaxy Road, Waco. MPElectricUSA.com.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It's time to be brutally honest with yourself. Look in the mirror or weigh yourself. Do you weigh as much, more, or less than you did before the holidays or a year ago? Why not start the year in better shape than how you ended it and create momentum for 2021 and help strip the negative vibes, tension, pressure, and extra pounds from the crazy of 2020? It's time right now to join Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness. It's so much more than a gym, including world-class tennis courts, lessons available with pros, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, personal training to get you over the hump. I promise you'll look better and feel better than ever before. Just need to walk through the front door. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Court. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp, spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation, a tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So make this your best and healthiest year ever. It's time to react today, not tomorrow. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozers Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Drew Bledsoe, longtime NFL quarterback with us, along with BJ Ganem, SierraDelta.com, Paul Catalina. I'm David Smoak on SicEm365 Radio. Drew, thanks for your time. What does Super Bowl week mean to you these days?
Well, it's sort of a national holiday, I mean, and, it's from this year in particular with this last year that we've lived through, our sports have been so important, man. It's been like one just thread of normalcy we've been able to hang on to. And so, now you get to the end of this football season, you actually get to have this national holiday, this Super Bowl weekend that everybody looks forward to. I know it's going to be a little different. Not going to have the massive parties that normally do. People are going to be responsible and all of that stuff. But it does feel good, man, and it's been so important to us.
Drew, for your personal Super Bowl experience, you had a couple of different ones. What are your biggest memories from the Super Bowl?
Well, both of my Super Bowls that I was in were in New Orleans. For me, it was just kind of interesting, getting to know that city and living there for a week. And, I think the first one, man, I was young, man, I was 24. We had some fun on Bourbon Street early in the week, out there walking around. And I remember bumping into Favre. He was up on the balcony with a bunch of beads. So I went up there and hung out with Favre for a little bit because we were playing against them that week. So yeah, but it's such a crazy week when you're in it. It's like you got all this pageantry and all this stuff going on around you. It's just sort of a circus. It really is like a holiday week. And then at the end of it, you got to play a game. And I just remember that first series or two in the game, you got to get out there and settle down and realize, okay, all right, all the BS is over. Now we got to play football. But then I think Reggie White sacked me 2 plays in a row, and then I knew we were definitely playing football at that point. But Reggie was so annoying, though, and God rest his soul. But Reggie was so annoying. It's well documented. But he comes in, sacks me, drives me to the turf in the Superdome. And he comes in and sacks me again, and both times he knocks the wind out of me, and then he reaches down and says, "Hey, Drew, God bless you," and picks me back up. Like, you don't get to knock me in the turf, rub me into the turf, and then say, "God bless you." Come on, that's not how this works. Right? I think you're interpreting the Bible the wrong way, bud. You don't get to just drive me to the turf and then say sorry. That's not I think that's how Jesus would have done it, bud.
That's awesome. That's all. BJ Ganem is here with us, U.S. Marine Corps, SierraDelta.com. And Drew, you've been a part of the Wounded Warriors and the amputee flag football game. And BJ, of course, we've had you on. Joe DeLamalure was with us about a month ago or so.
Right.
Drew, what does SierraDelta.com mean to you, and also what these games have meant the last decade or so?
Well, look, regardless of how you view the world, if you live in the United States, you owe a debt of gratitude to these people that have put so much on the line for us. And for the Wounded Warriors, that sacrifice, it's not like, you go play a football game, it hurts for a little while, you go get some treatment, and then you move on and you go back to just living your life. But when you're for the Wounded Warriors, that sacrifice goes on for the rest of their lives. And so I feel like it's the very least that we can do to help out a little bit and try to be a part of it. So anybody that's out there, go check out SierraDelta.com and be generous.
Yeah, we had so much fun, Drew, when we played against you guys in Boston, and I was able to bring my friends, the Boston Marathon survivors, with us. A bunch of the amputees there, and they were just so blessed to be a part of it, and it was a lot of fun. But I don't know if you remember or not, but I broke my foot completely off in that game, and trying to intercept one of your balls, which obviously I fell short of, and but you were just so gracious, and you're still so good. Like, do you keep yourself in shape pretty well?
I try to. I still get out and like to get out and throw the ball around a little bit. It takes a little bit longer to get loose these days than it did back then. But I do remember that. You broke your leg off in that game, and also this I appreciate you saying that I still look like I can play a little bit, but that was also one of the least proud moments of my football career. I actually got sacked by a dude with no legs.
That's right, Dave Stevens, good friend of ours.
He's sitting right behind us.
That's right.
I did an interview with him 2 days ago, and he's a sweetheart of a person, except for the fact that every time I talk to him, he brings up the fact that he has no legs and he sacked me.
Well, don't worry. He sacked Michael Vick too, so you're in good company.
Good. Yeah, that's good. But that was really fun. I brought my son Henry with me.
Yeah,
we got out there and slung it around. That was we had a great time doing that, and you guys are always just such an inspiration to be around. It's pretty cool.
Service dogs, Sierra Delta. We provide service dogs to vets, and do you have a dog, Drew?
we do, and I'm sort of almost. We used to have labs, right? We used to have like these big kind of manly dogs, but I had to turn in my man card a little while ago. We've got 2 little yippy dogs that they're kind of little lap dogs.
Hey, all dogs matter. Don't.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate it. I did. So we're living out here in the West, and I've got a big old diesel truck. And our one little dog, she can't jump very much anymore, but she liked to get up on my dashboard. So this big diesel truck with this little fur ball. People always did a little double take when they saw me driving by in this big truck with a little tiny dog. They didn't really know how this. It's a little bit like the one Army commercial with that big dude sitting in his truck with the little tiny fluffy dog. That was me. I think they based that commercial off of me. But yeah, no, dogs are. I know that they can be really, really helpful for people in a lot of different ways.
That's right.
And there's no unconditional love like that from a dog. My dad likes to point out, if you really want to know who your best friend is, go lock your dog in the trunk and your best friend in the trunk. And when you come back a couple hours later, see which one's happy to see you. And the dog will always jump up and lick your face. And,
that's right.
They're important to us.
Yeah, Drew, also, we can't let you go without plugging the wine that you got.
Oh, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, we just released our most recent vintage, our 12th vintage, which seems crazy, man. Seems like we just started this thing. And we released our 12th vintage of Doubleback. And this will sound like a marketing plug because I guess it is, but it's also the truth. It's the best wine we've made to date. Our 12th vintage is our very best one so far. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun for us. It's also allowed us to be charitable with it. And we've supported Wounded Warriors and we've supported a lot of good causes, and we'll continue to do that as well. But yeah, it's a great vintage. It's going fast. Selling, turns out when people are stuck at home, they like to drink red wine. So it's been helpful to our business, certainly.
Drew, if you don't mind, one more question. I watched the documentary on ESPN of your life, of your career, of what you're doing now. And you talked about when you did win the ring, the year that you were injured. And then, of course, that started the Tom Brady era as well. But it took you a while to kind of maybe accept the ring or appreciate the ring. I thought the documentary of you was amazing. Your thoughts about that part?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. They did such a cool job. Jeremy Schaap is one of the truly good guys in the media world. They spend a lot of time doing it, but yeah, on that part, that it was the very definition of bittersweet for me. Being a part of an organization and being the franchise quarterback for an organization, and we had gone from being pretty awful to being pretty relevant. And then we finally get back to the big game. I got to play in the AFC Championship game. Tommy was nice enough to sprain his ankle for me in that game. Let me play for a little bit. But we get to the ultimate game, and I don't get to play. Right, so I'm the guy that's watching from the sidelines, and I'd never been the guy that's watching from the sidelines. So that was the bitter part. But I was also extremely proud of my team, my teammates, and all of that. It did take a few years though before I would wear that ring with pride. Matter of fact, there were a number of years I didn't even know where it was. Thankfully, my mom took care of it for me. But with the benefit of a little bit of time, I was able to wear that ring with pride because then I did.
Drew Bledsoe,
a good part of it.
Drew Bledsoe, Patriots, Bills, Dallas Cowboys, Super Bowl champion, 4-time Pro Bowl, All-Pro, all the records. Everyone knows what he did as well at Washington State for SierraDelta.com and BJ
right.
Ganem. BJ, you want to say anything else to Drew?
I mean, Drew Bledsoe, he's just he's just an American icon. That what he just talked about, getting over that's a big thing, and that's what we do a lot with the military. So, Drew, I can't thank you enough for all your support throughout the years, and I'm just proud to know you, man, and thank you again for all that you do.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Drew Bledsoe with us at Tampa, Florida, Super Bowl 55. This is SicEm365 Radio.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Bird Culchin Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culchin Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culchin Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new pre-owned Bird Culchin Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership, online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culchin Ford.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Are you a SicEm365 superfan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at SicEm365.com.
Hey, DeMarcus, how's it going?
We're trying to be. It's fame as a member, perhaps, of the class of 2022, former 9-time Pro Bowler with the Cowboys, Denver Broncos, and also trying to encourage everybody in the country about fitness, new state-of-the-art fitness app, Driven to Win, DeMarcus Ware on SicEm365 Radio. DeMarcus, you know, athletes sometimes after you're done, sometimes you've been so focused in protocol, such a regimen, that you might get out of that. How important is it to stay in shape, not only for just you, but for anyone else in this country?
But you know, the thing is, man, just like you said, a regimen, right? And you got to stay on a regimen that's right for you. Everybody's regimen is different. And I figured that out after 3 back surgeries and neck surgery. And I said, you know, how can I get back to being normal? So I ended up losing 20 pounds just with, you know, kettlebells, dumbbells, body weight type stuff. I wish I worked out this way when I played, instead of lifting the 500, 400 pounds where you feel like you had to do it because you had to be the macho guy, right? But, you know, I ended up developing this app. I mean, I'm a computer science major, app developer. So I wanted to create the ultimate experience and give people a virtual trainer. I feel like it's a perfect time for that. You can be at home, you can be at the gym, and it will actually pop up right there in front of you, projecting through your phone, and it'll tell you how to work out, what exercises, your tempos, what type of program you can choose, beginner, intermediate, advanced, or if you do a questionnaire, it'll do the stuff all for you so you don't have to worry about it. And there are people out there that are saying, hey, well, I never worked out before. That's what I'm here for, to motivate you. I was a captain for 12 years in the NFL. I led guys in the locker room, but also I led myself to, and everybody to a championship. Now I want to be a champion in your life and lead you to being fitter. So this is an opportunity for me to say, hey, I'm the guy that put the work in. Now you just got to go download it for free in the Apple App Store, type in D2W, and I got you from there. Or type in Driven to Win. It'll pop up too as well. And so it's a cool passion project for me, saying, you know what, I wake up 6 o'clock every single morning, and this is what I do. But now I want to help out so many other people that are out there.
So, DeMarcus, I've seen some of your workouts on Instagram. You go hard. I mean, some of them are like dauntingly impressive, I'll say. But what you're saying is, for people like me, like I've fallen out of working out, I need to get back into it. I can just kind of create my own, it can create something for me.
Yeah, let's just say like a guy like you, right? And you're like, hey, the first thing I just want to do is just get moving. So there are 3 sections in there to where it'll give you a whole workout program once you do the questionnaire. Like, let's say if you don't have the gym and you have only the stuff at your house. So you just click on the body weight exercises, the home workouts. And so now it's me actually taking you through body weight programs to get your range of motion right with your warm-ups and activations of how to do it, just to put you at ease of, all right, let's incrementally get better building the best you. And that's what I'm trying to get people, because like you just said, I look at your social and you're like, dang, that looks hard. That's for the gram. I'm talking about real life functional stuff that people can do. And you're like, man, you know what? If DeMarcus can do this, I can do it too as well.
DeMarcus, isn't that really kind of how a team builds to get to a point where tonight, or I guess Sunday, you have Kansas City and the Buccaneers playing? It's almost the same thing as a team building blocks throughout the year. You slowly but surely get a little bit better.
Yeah, and you can see with a lot of these teams, either you come out like a skyrocket, right, and you plummet, or it's an incremental build, which we've seen from the Kansas City Chiefs, that we've seen from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then you strike when the iron's hot during the playoffs, and then you make the Super Bowl. So just think about with Brady. It was incremental. He came down from the Patriots to Tampa, implemented himself in there, became a captain, and now led this team to a Super Bowl. And then Patrick Mahomes, him getting hurt, still winning football games, and then he gets back in the captain seat, and then he leads his team to a Super Bowl. So it's small things that happen, even like in Super Bowl 50. Me and Peyton were hurt half of the season. And then we came back at the end of the season when everything was hot, everything where it was needed to be, and then we ended up getting into the playoffs and then into the Super Bowl and winning it.
DeMarcus, what does your former team have to do to finally get back there? The Cowboys have struggled for so long.
Yeah, first of all, you're going to have to sign a good quarterback like Dak, right? And hopefully he's healthy enough. Get all of your offensive linemen back, because that was your bread and butter to let Zeke eat. Right? You got to run that football and do those deep play action plays down the field. And from a defensive standpoint, you cannot give up 150 yards a game. You lose in the trenches no matter what, right? The pass rushers can't rush the passer because they run the ball over you. So they have to find an anchor guy, that guy that's going to be able to hold up 2 guys. You know, he's not going to make a lot of tackles, but he is that incremental piece that they need also when they're rushing the passer. He just pushes the pocket. So now those outside guys like Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence can get to the quarterback. So those are the pieces that I know that are missing that will get them back to the point where they need to be.
DeMarcus Ware, a 9-time Pro Bowl, Super Bowl champion with the Denver Broncos, of course, a part of the Cowboys where he made a name for himself as well. DeMarcus, what did getting the ring mean to your career? Did it validate everything for you? Of course, obviously, one day soon you're going to be a part of Pro Football's Hall of Fame, we would think. But did that validate everything else?
I think it did validate everything, because when you're a player, first of all, you want to etch your name in stone. You want to be the best at what you've done. And I did that, right? I was like, I'm the best linebacker to ever play the game in this era. That's the way I felt. That's what I put on myself. But then I'm like, man, yeah, you've broken all the records, but you have not won a Super Bowl. So that means that you aren't the ultimate team player. You know, your team was not the best that year. And that solidified everything for me. I don't care if it's 1, I don't care if it's 20 like Brady has, but when you do it one time and you hoist that trophy up, that to me says you are the best. Like I was on the number 1 defense that year with Von Miller and all of us, and we were a force to be reckoned with. But when I touched that Lombardi trophy and I put that ring on, that solidified everything to me and said, hey, there's nothing else you need to do after everything you've done.
I need to hear the story from you about your Willis Reed moment in that game against the Saints where you were injured and then came back in the game. I mean, I remember watching, I think Smokey and I might have been watching it. We're watching that game together.
Perhaps, yeah.
That's it. It's over. This game, oh man, DeMarcus is out. Like they need him to get this. And then all of a sudden here you come out of the locker room. What was that like for you?
You know what? I remember hurting my neck trying to rush against Phillip Rivers, and I ran against Spencer's thigh when I tried to like jump out of the way, and I was paralyzed on the field for about 10 seconds. I thought I was moving my arms and legs and I couldn't move. And I remember that week I was like scared, man, to put the pads back on for a little while. I got calls from like Emmett and Troy and, you know, Irving. Irving was like, hey, I went through this myself, man. You don't have to come back to the game. He said, just take some time off and just, you know, just think about your family. And I did that. And I remember walking into the stadium and I felt something. It was weird. And I got into the locker room and I seen all the guys with their heads down. And I remember going into Jason Garrett's office and I said, hey man, you think I can just, you know, rush on third down? And he was like, nah, D-Word, no, you're not doing that. And I, you know, begged him, and he said, okay, well, you just rush on third down. Just give me 10. But I need for you to go hit Deion Anderson. You know, Deion Anderson was fullback at the time. I need for you to go hit him a couple of times when you're out there. Just strap the pads on. I strapped the pads on, and I was actually shaking, man, putting the pads on because I was that scared. I thought I was going to have that feeling again. And I hit Deion. I was like, all right, cool. I can rush for a couple plays. And I heard the crowd roar when I went out there on the first third down. And it was against Sean Payton, I remember. And he ran the football on third down. It was like 3rd and 12. He ran the ball right at me. And that pissed me off. And I'm like, did he actually just run the football? He supposed to pass the football. It's 3rd and 12, a screenplay or something, you know, just to let me get going. And it was first down, and they were waving me out. I said, no, freak that. I'm staying out here. And so play after play after play, I started gaining my confidence back. And I said, you know, they're going to pay for this. And I said, they probably didn't even prepare for me to play this game. And I went out there where I had 2 strip sacks or something like that and closed the game out. But it was one of them games where I was on like a natural high after that. And I was just like, you know, the sky's the limit from there.
Yeah, I mean, that was, to me, again, an awesome moment. You know, Jason Witten just retired. Of course, you played along with Jason. He had that moment with the helmet gets torn off against the Eagles, runs down the sideline. Each player, no matter if it's a backup, an all-pro, a Hall of Fame type name, there's always like that one play that might be a defining moment. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's always that one moment of like who you are when you start thinking about, you know, just the football aspect. And that was that play for me. It was that play, and, you know, with the Saints that said, you know what, you have arrived. You're back to who you are. Same thing with Jason. Jason got his whole helmet knocked off, and he just kept going. It's always something with the players, that one play that say, you know what, I remember that guy because of this.
Yep.
DeMarcus, you mentioned giving up 150 yards on the ground that the Cowboys were. I don't know how many times you guys did that when you were playing there, but I doubt you did it 3 or 4 games in a row. What's the locker room like? What is the defensive meeting room like after you do get gashed in the run game on defense, and how you correct it?
I think, you know, the first time, you know, that happens, right? You know, certain guys, and let's say if you you have a different defense like they did, certain guys not being in the right place, or it might be personnel that's not playing it like they should be playing, and they're getting used to it. I can understand, like, you know, one game you give away 150, the next game you give away 100, now you're at 90. You're starting to finger at yourself and start pointing at everybody else. Like, it was your fault because you wasn't in the B gap. Or it was your fault because you lost contain. And so when everybody starts pointing the finger, you start also losing the guy that has a C on their chest. He can't lead. There's nothing that he can do because everybody is disarray, right? And so it's all about getting the guys back on the same page now and getting everybody like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to play, and we're going to play it this way no matter what.
Marcus, you mentioned when you went back in the game, the roar of the crowd and what that meant to you. Did you miss that after you retired? Did that ever have to be something you had to understand that was no longer there, or did that come into play when you retired and after you didn't play the following year?
You know, the thing is, like, as soon as I retired, I knew that the roar of that 12th man, you will never be able to feel that again. When you hear your name called and you see the smoke, you see the fire, and you hear that rumble of a stadium. I mean, we didn't get to get that this year with the pandemic, but it plays a huge role, especially on like third down, right? But for me, the only thing I can do now is probably ride a roller coaster, jump out of the airplane, get on a F-16 airline fighter and try to get some type of adrenaline rush. But nothing is like the 12th man when you come out of that stadium and you hear that big heartbeat.
I've seen you with those gigantic kettlebells. That's got to be a bit of a rush getting across. I saw that one. I didn't think they made them that big, DeMarcus.
Dude, I had a 100-pound kettlebell the other day, and I was like, man, let me try this thing out one more time. Listen, I still feel it right now in my right shoulder. Okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. But like you just said, there are certain things that you used to be able to do, and that's why I tell people now, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm doing what's actually functional for my body, and that's the most simplest stuff, more metabolic, eating the right way, just like I think he just got his whole platter over there. I don't know what that is that he just had right there, but it's just an awesome thing now to see. If I would have done these things while I played, I would have a longer career because I wouldn't be beating my body up.
By the way, Randy, who's someone that represents your fitness center, Eric Horton is with us, and there are these Tyler candles.
Oh man, boy! I got some right here. I love Tyler candles, man.
If you saw the wide shot, Eric's over here as well.
I can see him,
yeah. And of course, we're the best smelling table on Radio Row.
Oh yes, you are, man. Listen, you need to check out their detergent. Like, listen, you know, I love Tyler. Tyler's is awesome. We sell it in the 3-volt boutique too, the fitness center I have here. And I tell you what, we are the best smelling fitness center in the whole United States of America. Okay.
There's no question. It's awesome. He's been donating candles to our Radio Row now for well over 10 years, and it's been amazing. And it's always a popular, especially after about the third or fourth day when it smells like a locker room, when it's really crowded. Of course, it's spaced out this year, but it's always been a popular hit. Guys want to take it back to the hotel, put it in their dirty clothes bin, whatever. Yeah.
But man, it's a great company, man, in Tyler, man. It's a great I actually found out about them in Denver. And to this day, everywhere that I go, I always have some Tyler candles with me.
Well, and Eric Horton said hi, by the way, to you as well. And he's from Alabama. Of course, you played at Troy as well. Driven to Win. Download at your iOS app store, a fitness app, new state-of-the-art fitness app, Driven to Win. Paul Catalina.
I'm going to do it right now.
Going to download that.
Yes, simple. Just listen, we've downloaded a lot of things for free, right? I mean, come on, you can just click, get the free trial, and then the results will start happening. You'll see exactly. And I want you guys to play with it. When you click on the AR stuff, put it right there beside you and actually see me right there showing you how to do the exercise. That's the cool thing. And I'm talking about like right there on the floor. I know that there's not a lot of people in there, so that's great. So you can put it like right there on the floor, man, and it will show you the whole exercise program.
Hey, I've seen the little. It's downloading right now. I like the animation. I like you could do a Saturday morning cartoon with that.
Yeah, exactly.
That looked good. I saw I think that was a box jump that you did on there, a burpee or something.
DeMarcus, I know you got to go, but one more thing. I mentioned what a Super Bowl ring meant to perhaps validate your career. Next year, you're up for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Of course, we know sometimes guys have to wait. What if that moment comes in the near future? Will that mean to you?
You know what? It will mean everything to me. I mean, when you start thinking about championships, you start thinking about the Super Bowl, you start thinking about your history and how you played the game. The next thing is, I want to be able to say I was the best in my era by putting that yellow jacket on. I mean, I worked my tail off every single day. When I hear players say I didn't go 100%, I went 100% every single play and did what I needed to do. And I was able to, accomplish the things that I have accomplished, and to be able to represent that crest, that's something. I mean, that's the NFL Chris, and I etched my name in stone in the NFL Chris among amazing guys like the Reggie Whites, the Bruce Smiths, the Michael Strahans that I looked up to, and now my name is up there with those guys, and I'm like, man, how cool would that be now to be in that room with them, and so we can chat a little bit.
No question about it. DeMarcus Ware, Super Bowl champion. He will be a part of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, of course. All-decade team, 9-time Pro Bowl, and
there's a ring.
App. There you go. Again, driven to win. DeMarcus, thanks for your time on SicEm365 Radio.
Thank you guys so much. Peace out.
You too.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Start the new year with a new Ram truck from Allen Samuels. Ram's impressive towing capability, heavy-duty payload capacity, and smooth ride have earned Ram the Motor Trend Truck of the Year yet again. That's 3 years in a row. Check out the new 2021 Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab with up to $7,250 in total value. Or take advantage of 0% for 60 or 2.9% for 72 and get $3,000 in rebates. It's the Start Something New sales event at Allen Samuels, your friend in the car business. Shop now at AllenSamuelsDCJ.com. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
When we moved to Texas, we were like fish out of water. We didn't know anyone in our neighborhood until our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent came to the house. She was so helpful and reassuring, a friendly face with that Texan hospitality I'd heard about. When we purchased a Texas Farm Bureau insurance policy, we knew we were making the right choice. We knew our family would be protected.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Held the Rams to 2 for 8. Brady floats it. He's got Evans. What a throw.
The presenting sponsor of Super Bowl 55 coverage from Tampa, Florida on SicEm365 Radio is Marco's Pizza. Pizza for pizza lovers with locations in Woodway, China Spring, and Belmead.
Mahomes in trouble, able to unload it, and gets the completion at the 49 to Kelsey again.
Also brought to you by IdealMRI.com, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Waco Custom Marketplace, Boozer's Jewelers, Stonewood Dental, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac.
Lobs it up in the air to Kelsey. No one near him.
Edward Jones Financial Advisors, Petty Clinic Low T, Pioneer Steel and Pipe, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, and Impact Health Labs. Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, we start what is the last hour of our coverage from Tampa, Florida, inside the Convention Center. We'll take you through this hour. Hall of Fame offensive lineman Will Shields will join us at some point today here in the next 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll have Darryl Strawberry here momentarily. The longtime slugger, of course, had an incredible career in Major League Baseball, ups and downs of baseball in life. He's at Straw Ministries on Twitter. We'll have Darryl Strawberry momentarily about a book that he's written about his life, and Turn Your Season Around is a book, How God Transforms Your Life, and he'll join us here momentarily. Also, as I mentioned, a lot of people that have been a part of this, but Marco's Pizza. Bob Mock, I just tried to call him and then realized in the pizza business, this is like almost prime time on a Friday evening. It's just after 5 o'clock, and just said, hey, thank you very much for your title sponsorship of our coverage in Tampa.
Since you're going to do that, why don't you call him about Sunday at 2:30?
2:30 to 5:30, yeah.
2:30 to 5:30 on Sunday, and just see how he's doing.
Tee it up at McLean Stadium this coming at the end of this month. Top Golf Live takes over Waco at McLean Stadium the 25th through the 28th. Create memories with friends, family, co-workers coming up at the end of February. You can go to topgolflive.com for more information about being a part of groups, parties, and being a part of Top Golf Live at McLean Stadium the 25th through the 28th. Darryl Strawberry, longtime Major League Baseball player, Mets, Dodgers, Giants, and Yankees. And Darryl, thinking back on it, the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Yankees, three of the greatest baseball-type franchises of all time. Did you ever think about the fact you played for three of the almost elite franchises in baseball history?
No question about it. I did think about that, think about the fact of playing in New York, all my years, and then going to L.A. and then having a chance with the Giants, and just think about the history of the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers, the Yankees and the Mets, so a lot of history in New York City, and I just happen to be a great part of it, and I'm so grateful for it.
Well, look, nobody in New York, if you're a baseball fan, dislikes Darryl Strawberry because the last World Series the Mets won, you were on it, and you're a key part of it, and then 3 World Series with the Yankees, so you're covered in all bases in the Big Apple, aren't you, Darryl?
You could say that. I'm a New York guy, and I enjoy the fact of playing in New York. I think a lot of guys talk about playing there, but I think a lot of times you don't understand about playing there because it's a lot different than anywhere else. You're not going to have to deal with so much media like you are in New York. When you walk in the clubhouse there, you're going to have to deal with about 40, 45 people, standing around looking at you. So you got to figure that out. Are you up for that every day? So, a lot of guys get there and then they realize that, this might have been the wrong place to come.
Darryl, what do you think of the current state of Major League Baseball?
I really don't know because I don't watch it a lot. I mean, I could see the, free agency of players and the salaries that they're getting now is incredible. Somebody made a way for me to get the salary I got. I wouldn't want to be like some of these other players who have played a very long time. I complain about the guys that are making the money they're making. They have every right, to be able to make the kind of money they make because they're going out there, they're performing. If you're performing at the highest level and you're succeeding, then, that's great. That's really what baseball is all about. Can you win at any cost? And I think that's what's happening today.
We appreciate your time. You are from Tampa. They're hosting the Super Bowl. We've been here since Tuesday evening, and we'll be leaving over the next 2 or 3 days. The game, of course, on Sunday night. And this is not the first time for Tampa, but with the Buccaneers playing at home, first time anyone's hosted it truly like this in the Super Bowl. Were you a Buccaneers fan growing up?
No, I actually didn't grow up there, but I actually moved there when I started playing with the Yankees. And I spent a lot of time around Tampa and saw Derek Brooks and those guys when they played with the Buccaneers. Warren Sapp, I saw those players, and they were exciting to see. And I just think this Tampa team now, what can you say? It's Tom Brady, man. Come on. Everybody want to question his ability to play the game, and is he this, is he that? I mean, he's a proven legend. You know, he's proved who he is, you know, and what he's capable of doing. You know, he goes from New England and goes to the Tampa Bay Bucks, and he takes them to the Super Bowl. So, you know, you can't discredit a guy that, you know, has done what he's done. I mean, he's been incredible. And then you got the young kid, Mahomes over there, you know, just really, you know, phenomenal. He's probably the next Tom Brady and going to be winning a couple Super Bowls just like that.
Daryl, your recovery from addiction is very, you know, well documented in what you had to overcome and come through to beat it. In this age where we have you know, so many people battling with addiction, whether it be opioids or alcohol or you know, cocaine or many different things, what was the key for you to finally turn it around and get back to where you were the Daryl Strawberry that was an athlete and a successful person?
Well, first of all, my prayers and thoughts are with everybody that struggle with addiction. Nobody signs up for that. I think people don't understand what happens in people's lives. And, you know, my life was no different just being a baseball player. I grew up in a dysfunctional home with a father being a raising alcoholic who beat the crap out of me. Came home for the last time when I was 14, said he was going to kill the whole family. Had it not been for my mother getting us out of the house, we were going to kill him, me and my brother. So it could have been a tragedy in my life before I ever put the uniform on. So what I'm saying is, that most people end up broken or some kind of trauma on the inside that leads them down that way to addiction. And for me to come back to where I'm at today, it's because I found a relationship with God. I got serious about my life. I got a church and I became a different person. And, you know, now I've been in ministry for like the last 18 years. I've been preaching for the last 13 years. I became an evangelist and traveled the country 250 times, you know, preaching the gospel. And it's the challenge of who you are. You know, when you take the uniform off, so many guys get consumed with having the uniform on for the rest of their life and working in sports. And I just made a choice that I wasn't going to work in sports anymore, and I was going to do something different to help so many other people that are suffering.
Daryl, being in the position that you're in, how often do you come across people that just needed somebody to kind of understand what they're going through and have that relatability? Because for people who don't suffer from addiction, they look at it and they think, oh, well, that person's just a loser, or they did this or that. But for you having personally experienced, how many people do you come across that just needed to be able to relate to somebody else who's dealt with that sickness?
So many people. I mean, I go to so many large churches, you know, even in Texas, you know, in different places all over the place. And a lot of people, after I do a meet and greet in line, people always got somebody suffering and want me to pray for them and really encourage them, you know, because of me overcoming those situations. And I think a lot of times people that don't understand, they're always pointing fingers. And when you point fingers, 3 fingers are pointing back at you because you don't never know what a person's going to do and how a person's going to change. And when you look back at the history of what addiction has done to celebrities, it's killed all of them. All of them are OD'd because nobody has ever said they had problems. All you had to do is say they have a problem so they can get the proper help. I think we sweep it under the rug too much, and they can never get the help, you know. And for me, I mean, I was able to get the help because publicly everybody saw my fall, and then publicly everybody gets to see the transformation of my life today.
As dynamic of a player as you were, do you ever have regrets that it could have been more?
No, I don't. I don't have any regrets whatsoever. It was what it's supposed to be because I was broken when I was playing Major League Baseball and achieving all those things. And then after baseball, you know, I would meet my lovely wife, Tracy, and we would get into ministry, and God would transform me and change my heart and give me a better platform to do greater things to help the multitude of people. And I think that's so incredible because my favorite minister of the gospel is Billy Graham, a man that was a winner of souls, you know, and I know he did it all everywhere. And, you know, and I get an opportunity to do that today. I mean, I had a great impact playing baseball in New York City and people cheering for me, but never like, you know, the impact you have when you're winning souls for the Lord.
Do you feel like because of where you played that led to some of the other pressures you'd felt that maybe led to some of your issues? Because you're in New York and LA and San Francisco. I mean, those are some big boy cities.
No, I think it was expected to happen in my life. It was just part of what was happening, you know, from, you know, the dysfunction and the brokenness that is real. The brokenness is so real on the inside of us, and we can't get to the place of getting healed until after we take the uniform off. Because see, when you put a uniform on, guy, and you achieve all these things and you're being successful, people think you should never have any problems because you're rich, you're famous, you live behind community gates, privileged. I was all that, but that doesn't make you well. And I think a lot of times people think that will make you well. Celebrities struggle more than anybody, but nobody ever really knows that they're struggling because nobody ever says they have a problem. And that's the problem that hides behind celebrities. Why people can't get well is because they're in the public eyes. And, the average person could struggle and people point their fingers at them and call them a loser. And you should never do that because we don't, like I said before, we don't really know what has happened to people. And we don't know the burden. We don't know the trauma and the misuse of what has happened to people's lives. And we're looking at a generation today with so many young, beautiful kids. They're not even living. For the grace of God, they go out. They're dying between 19 and 25, ODing from opiates and heroin because it's killing all the kids.
Daryl, I found it interesting that you mentioned that you didn't have any regrets, and is that kind of the philosophy of that our scars make us kind of who we are?
No question about it. Your scars make you who you are, and why are we so afraid to show our scars? And Christ showed us his scars on the cross, and guess what? He rescued us, redeemed us, and restored us to wholeness, and that's what he did for me. He found me in the pit and put me in a pulpit, guys. I'm not even qualified to preach the gospel, but God called me and equipped me to do it, and here it is. Here it is. I played 17 years in the major league, and I was broken, left for dead, and there it is. God finds me in the pit, and he puts me in the pulpit to preach the gospel to help others. This is an incredible story, and not about me. It's an incredible story about how good he is. And I just want to be able to, convey that to people so they can see no matter how far we go down, you can always get back up. And the thing about it is, my struggles, had I not had the struggles of playing Major League Baseball and became this great Darryl Strawberry into the Hall of Fame, I made another, $60-70 million playing baseball, I probably would never be the man I am today doing what I'm doing. I love who I am today. I love the second half of my life and what I'm doing, because it's having such a tremendous impact on so many other people's lives.
Got to tell you, Daryl, it's so awesome to hear you say that. It really is. It's amazing to hear you say that. And, when a person struggles with addiction, they might have some bad times with certain relationships or people in their lives. And, the people that really, truly care about you will try to stick with you through thick and thin. But, sometimes it just gets really bad. What's it been like, or how's it been to kind of come across people who maybe knew you from a former life to see where you are today? How fulfilling is that to see that look in their eyes that, you've made it to where you've made it?
Well, it's just so funny because you say that because, I remember when I started this journey about 18 years ago, and I said I was going to follow God and live a different life from a lot of my former players, that I played with in my early days, kind of said, yeah, let's see how long this lasts. Well, they're still waiting for me. They're still waiting for me to fall back. And it's 18 years, and I hadn't fallen back. There's nothing back there. So, it's not rewarding for me. I mean, it's just to show that the goodness of God is so real in your life when you do make that change. I'm no better than anybody else, guys. I just made a change for myself. I took the uniform off. I no longer wear the uniform. Yes, I'm Darryl Strawberry, and I won championships. I do all that stuff, but I'm not dangling that over my head. I don't go back to the reunions, and I go back to the reunions to be with the guys, but I don't go back to go to parties. I don't go back to be in the bars, hanging out, talking about what I used to do, because I don't do that anymore. I do different things in my life, and I'm satisfied with that. So it's not about getting back at anybody and saying, look at me. I'm just saying to those guys, look, I made a change, because they couldn't believe the fact that I would actually make a change, because I was a real heathen, womanizer, alcoholic, drug addict sinner when I was playing baseball.
Tell us about your new book that you've got out.
My new book, Turn Your Season Around. It's just like a baseball game. When you're in the middle of a baseball game, you can go 0-2 your first 2 at-bats, but you still might have 2 more at-bats. You might come up in the 8th inning with the game on the line, 1st and 2nd, and you can hit a bomb, and the game could be tied up or the game could be over. It's just like that, turning the game around and turn your season around in life. That's really what it's about, how God transforms your life and how he takes a person's life like my life and what they saw and wrote about me. They said I would be dead. They didn't realize they were prophesizing over me. The old me is dead. He don't live anymore. Now a lot of guys that see me come back and, reporters see me come back, they have a great deal of respect for me because I've actually changed my life and didn't live the same. So I just encourage people that you can have a first 6 months of a season or a year like we've had with the pandemic, but still there's another season coming in your life that you could turn around Don't stay hung up on the, on the negative. Think about the positive of what can happen after this year is over for you.
Daryl, when you were having the explosiveness as a baseball player and winning championships, were you happy inside?
I was happy about playing baseball. See, putting the baseball uniform on just made me a baseball player. It never made me a man. It just made me a baseball when I had a baseball uniform on, and I was happy about the things that I was achieving, but I wasn't happy as the man I was that I needed to become. And I didn't really become that man until I found Christ. And when I found Christ, then the symbol of me changed everything about me. And I was able to go back and, do the things that were real. The people that I hurt, my first 2 wives and my 6 kids, I was able to go back and make amends to them and tell them I'm sorry. I wasn't a good husband. I wasn't a good father. I did you guys wrong. And all I could do is make the amends and move forward. I was able to go back and heal a lot of broken relationships that I destroyed. And I'm so grateful that I have become that man that I was able to do that before my life was over.
Daryl, how many people do you come across who have a hard time getting through their addiction because of that feeling of shame, that feeling that, they've already done so many bad things that, that shame hangs on them? And how do you go about talking to people about, letting go of that burden that's so unnecessary?
Well, the first thing I try to do when I meet people like that, and I met a lot of young people like that when I had a treatment center. I was running treatment centers about 5 years ago. And then so many young people are coming in and were addicted to opium. They're all dying. They're all having shame and guilt about themselves. And the first thing that I try to make them understand is, I love you. I'm not here to judge you. And I tell my story. I share who I am. I share my broken pieces, and I understand the pain. And I think that's the most important thing for someone to be able to help them move forward is we have to love them right where they're at. Doesn't mean we have to tolerate them, but we have to love them because they're broken inside, and lawlessness brings about a brokenness and broken generation, and they just keep falling over and over, and they keep doing the same thing. And they've had problems, in the household where everybody sweeps it under the rug. And this is where I find out about most of the young generation people that I've dealt with over the years. That's where they struggle is because people don't know how to love them right where they're at. Like I said before, we have to learn how to love them and tell them we care about them, but we don't have to tolerate the behavior that they do.
You grew up in Crenshaw. You went to Crenshaw High School as a part of that famous baseball team, and of course, you were able to make it out. What were the temptations like in Crenshaw and getting out of that neighborhood to have a chance to succeed?
Well, the temptations are great anywhere, but growing up in the hood was great, because, we kind of knew everybody, and, it was either you're going to go this way or that way. Either you're going to get involved with gangs or you're going to get involved with sports. We made the choice that we was going to play sports. And when I say I talk about my brother Michael and my brother Ronnie and my best friend Eric Davis and Chris Brown. We all grew up together and we played summer ball together. And we just had a drive to stay away from the activities that were out in the neighborhood, and we focused on playing ball and improving ourselves. And me and Eric Davis, made our mind up that we were going to be the best once we get to the big leagues. We knew that when we were in high school that we were going to play Major League Baseball. Everybody was saying, well, you guys are never going to be able to hit the way you hit. Him with his hands down and my leg kicking. And I guess everybody was wrong.
Matt, they damn sure were, man. You guys could you guys could flat out whip it with that bat. Eric Davis was a fun player to watch as well, man. He seemed like he hit the ball harder than anybody I could ever remember, even though, of course, when the ball left your bat as well. What do you think about Daryl Strawberry is our guest. Turn your season around, how God transforms your life. What do you think about all this stuff with stats and metrics and sabermetrics and all the stuff going on with baseball today?
I think it's totally insane. Baseball is a game about fundamentals. And the fundamentals of baseball is real and always have been. And I think it's overrated with the stats of, upswinging and swinging for home runs and striking out. And I saw some games before because I didn't watch much, and I got into the playoffs a few years ago, and I saw the Dodgers. I saw how good they were. They should have won a couple World Series, but they couldn't get anybody over, or they couldn't get anybody in, from from third or second, go to get a guy. Oh, guy couldn't bunt, just the little things. And that's what baseball is really all about. They got away from that, and everybody's gotten away from wanting to swing up and hit the ball to the ballpark. What they don't realize is everybody's not a home run hitter. You may hit 2 or 3, 4 out of the year, but how many times you going to strike out? A guy that's hitting 3, 4 home runs shouldn't be striking out 90 times. There's no way he should be playing the game like that. And I just think they need to really get back to what the game is all about. It's the fundamentals of baseball that made the game great. You can't even break up a double play now. I remember I came and slid hard, tried to break up a double play because we hated the Cardinals, and Ozzie Smith I was trying to take him out, and he hopped over me and turned around and looked at me and just threw his finger at it like, never, you could never get me. So that's what that's what baseball was all about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Daryl, I'll share this with you, and I know you got to go, and really appreciate your time. Again, the book is Turn Your Season Around, Daryl Strawberry. You could also get on Twitter, and it's Straw Ministries is where you could follow him. He's on Instagram, Daryl Strawberry 18. But we've had 2 guests out of all the Hall of Fame guests, all the great superstars, whatever. We had Charles Haley, and we've had Daryl Strawberry, and the 2 stories that you tell. Charles battled depression and is trying to help with that. He battled it badly. I mean, he got real deep with us about the moment when perhaps he could have gone, absolutely not been around. And then also with your story as well, we really appreciate your insight, your transparency, honesty, and what you're trying to do.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for reaching out to me, Dave. I really appreciate it. So it's just so important to really be able to encourage people after you have become an overcomer. See, I'm not sitting in the victim role. I'm an overcomer. So I'm not a victim of what happened to me. Most people say they're victims of what happened to them. No, I'm overcome by the blood of the Lamb. I have victory, so I need to go back and help somebody else.
Keep it up, Daryl. Keep it up, man.
Yeah. He played for the Mets. Yeah, the Mets and Dodgers. The Giants and Yankees, and they all came from the same place. The start of what the Dodgers, of course, and also the Giants, who began in New York. Daryl, thank you. God bless. Thanks for your time. Daryl Strawberry with us. Turn Your Season Around. How God Transforms Your Life Forward by Greg Laurie, New York Times bestseller.
Could you imagine being a high school coach having to face a team with him and Eric Davis?
Are you kidding me?
A high school coach. I mean, it's hard enough in the major leagues, but in the major leagues, you know that what you signed up for. You're signed up to, to strike out millionaires.
Yeah.
But you're in high school, you're just there. I mean, you're forever playing ball.
Yeah.
Just trying to give. And then you got a team coming in with Darryl Strawberry and Eric Davis. Oh my gosh. Do you just throw the ball and duck?
Craig's a lefty. Craig, you obviously, Ken Griffey may have had the sweetest swing of all time, but old Strawberry had kind of a little bit of a hitch, but man, tall, lean, angular, and blam, boom, gone.
Yeah, Griffey's the swing that I think all my generation tried to emulate, and only, you very quickly get corrected with your baseball coach and say, no, that's Ken Griffey can do that. You need to do it a little bit of a different way. But no, certainly Strawberry, I'm sure had that same type of impact, and I'm sure there were a lot of kids in New York, L.A., et cetera, all over the country, all over the world that were emulating, his style as well. And I couldn't help but think, and I don't know about you guys, when he was talking about the sabermetrics and the numbers, and I know there's a lot of baseball guys out there who'd be like, oh, well, shut up, these matter, and okay, that's fine, but I think there is an element of just, knowing the game and playing the game and not getting caught up in the numbers as well. And I couldn't help but think he was describing Joey Gallo when talking about guys that hit 40 home runs and then strike out a billion times. I mean, that was the first name I thought of.
Well, to me, I would rather sacrifice 7 home runs. I hit 33 home runs, but I've hit 310 or 315.
Well, 275.
I think Joey Gallo is good enough. He's athletic and talented enough.
That's the point.
If he sacrificed 8 or 9 home runs a year because he's not trying to go for those home runs and he just learns how to hit the ball sometimes, then he'd be a 315
But this
hitter.
crap was sabermetrics, and it works, by the way.
The launch angle thing.
The launch angle, all that. And, of course, all the pitchers are throwing 95, and so it also leads to velocity against the bat.
I think it's like anything. I think it's like anything else where there is some substance to it. There's definitely some substance to it, and there's a reason why it's being applied, across the sport at every level. But I I think there's a point where you get like too nerdy with it to where it becomes the end-all be-all, and it takes away just from your natural instinct and just naturally playing the game. And that's where I kind of have a little bit of an issue with it being the end-all be-all for some people when it comes to the game of baseball.
I Googled this, Darryl Strawberry Crenshaw, and I said he was from Tampa. He eventually lived in Tampa. He's from Crenshaw, deep. I mean, he said it's the hood. On June the 8th of 2004, Eric Sondmeier, I can't remember, he wrote an article. This week marks the 25th anniversary of Crenshaw High's baseball team reaching the city section championship at Dodger Stadium. No team from South LA has made it since. Wow. Chris Brown, of course, is the singer, right? But it's a book called The Ticket Out, Darryl Strawberry and the Boys of Crenshaw. 9 players from that team were drafted by professional teams off one high school. Now, there's some that are now stacked academies and all that. 9 players from that team, including, as he mentioned, his brother, Eric Davis. My goodness, and what a story. What a neat story. And you know, like, I love what he said. He got a lot of former teammates who are waiting him like, okay. Yeah. Like, I'm sure that when Darryl Strawberry talks about religion, people will go, oh, now it's how convenient, write a book, whatever. Well, I mean, you could hear it in his voice. I wish him the best every single damn day of his life.
You know, they did the 30 for 30 about him and Doc Gooden. And Doc Gooden is from here.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, from Plant High School. And They had a meeting. They met up again at the end, and here Darryl Strawberry was, and this is just 5-6 years ago they did this, and so here Darryl Strawberry, that's what he's doing. His life, he's clean, he's successful, he's he's ministering, he's helping people with addiction, and you see Doc sit down at this table with him, and it's just. Doc was still struggling. I hope he's not anymore, but it's an uphill climb, and it's really good to hear stories. I think people. I'm really glad that we get to share stories like Randy Grimes, like Darryl Strawberry, like Charles Haley, because like BJ Ganem, working with vets and stuff like that. There are people out there who experience things and think that there's no way that anybody else can feel like me, and then when you hear somebody like say that, like, oh no, there's a lot of people that feel like me. Well, what did they do? There's such a weird stigma about getting better, but I mean, it is good to hear stories like that.
I think there's a fear and a shame that comes with it that prevents people from taking that step. They're scared of the unknown. They're scared of life without that substance that makes them whole or makes them feel good, until the point where they do it to the ends of where it makes them sick, and to where they have to stop or else die. And I'm sure Darryl faced many near-death situations during his time, and I'm sure Doc Gooden has as well. And, he brought up at Hollywood how many celebrities we see dying. I mean, shoot, just look at, there's been like 3 rappers in the last 2 years that have overdosed from opiates. And that's just rap music. I could go like through Hollywood and various other avenues as well. And opiates are a really, really massive problem right now, especially for the younger generation. And you know what, Darryl Strawberry, I give him kudos, because he's out there and he's trying to save lives, and people have to realize that shame that you're feeling, you don't have to carry that shame. You don't have to let that be a burden for the rest of your life. Just because you did something 10 years ago doesn't mean that 50 years from now you still have to feel guilty about it. You can't change what happened. You can only try to make the best of it, and I'm glad that Darryl Strawberry is doing that.
I just put up the Charles Haley, great point, Craig. I just put up the Charles Haley podcast in the premium section, because I don't know who on the premium section has battled or is battling or continues to battle depression. So I just put that up there thinking about that. We put that up, and maybe at one point Dell's. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed so far what we've had today. It's been fun. We I got to admit this. We had Wednesday's show pretty stacked up from the beginning. It was great to start with Scott Drew, and then move on to what we had. And then I woke up and I kind of tossed and turned on Wednesday night, Paul. I told you this. We had a couple of guests lined up that were fine, and then all of a sudden everything kind of fell into place. And then yesterday, by the time we had wrapped up our show, we had almost all of what we have lined up. And then we came in today and we're able to add Drew Bledsoe because we're here. DeMarcus Ware because we're here. And then also our next guest, Will Shields, who while he pipped somebody as an offensive lineman as a rookie out of Nebraska with the Kansas City Chiefs. So those were some things that we were able to get from here. And we try to bring you these kind of guests almost every day, but we have one more Hall of Famer to bring your way, and Will Shields, who was a 13-time Pro Bowl offensive lineman. And it's not someone that you hear when you hear about who's the greatest offensive lineman of all time. And I'm not saying he is, but his numbers and resume are insane.
Look, you got to throw him in there with Larry Allen and some of the guys from my era. Like I would. Yeah, Anthony Munoz, Dermontti Dawson.
Yeah.
Guys who were elite at their position.
12-time Pro Bowler, and of course he was also a 7-time All-Pro, which is a different level. Easy. Hey, did we bring up Bobby Taylor yesterday?
No.
Yeah, we saw him. Yeah, we saw him. Oh, we did.
Oh, we did not. So, Craig, we went to lunch with Eric over at where he's staying, and it was like on this 6th floor, nice little beautiful view of the bay. And so, Eric and Paul and I, we sit down at this table, and I look over, and there's 3 guys sitting at this kind of more of a like a lounge couch, but they're having lunch, and I recognize one of the faces that ended up being Pickell Spikes, the former Bengals linebacker
Bills,
from Auburn. Yeah, and the Bills. And then I did not recognize the other one. And then I walked over. I said, that's Bobby Taylor from Longview, the great Bobby Taylor, Notre Dame, Eagles, Seahawks, who they drafted, Philadelphia did, to defend Michael Irvin. And I walk over to Bobby Taylor, and he looks like he's still 22 years old, looks great, and never realized how tall. I know he was like a hell of a basketball player, how tall he was. Had a great visit with him.
I realized how tall he was.
Yeah.
I always realize how tall everyone is.
Yeah.
It's my life.
You gonna write a book?
Man, the person's tall.
Yeah.
God loves them more.
But what was his reaction when he saw you?
It was like, oh my God. I said, Bobby. And he said my name, which was great. And then I told the guys with him, Pickell and I think it was Miss Irvin, not Michael, but I said, you are still to this day the greatest multi-sport athlete that I ever covered in high school football. And number 2 would be Patrick Mahomes' dad in Pat when it was at Lindale. Right. So that was great. We had a good time. He's in here doing stuff with NFL legends. We thought we might be able to get him into Radio Row, but he said his schedule might be packed, which, by the way, our schedule's been packed anyway, so I'm not sure we could have gotten him on. But it was good to see Bobby Taylor, a blast from the past, and one of the great players at Notre Dame and high school at Longview. Won a basketball state title with the Lobos under Leroy Romines, and a great little nugget with Bobby Taylor at the JW Marriott. So there we go with that. Yeah. All right, when we come back, Will Shields, Hall of Fame, 12-time Pro Bowler, an amazing story, also a military brat. He talks about SierraDelta.com with BJ Ganem and Paul Catalina. I'm David Smoak, back with more SicEm365 Radio in Tampa and Waco.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Nitschke Group Insurance Agency. With the Nitschke Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Nitschke Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Nitschke Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jeweler, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Tom Albers, staying in touch with you and your money through these difficult and changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
All right, go ahead.
12 times he was named to the Pro Bowl, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 7 times overall, Walter Payton Man of the Year, All-Decades team. He's a part of the Chiefs Hall of Fame and, of course, a great college player at Nebraska and a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Will Shields joins us on SicEm365 Radio. When people call out all of what you accomplished at every level, does that mean much to you now that you've retired, or are you kind of numb to it?
No, I mean, you got to realize that that's all things that you've been able to accomplish over the thing. You never worked towards those goals. It just sort of happened at the end of it. And now you're working towards whatever's going to happen for the next 20, 30 years. And so, it's one of those processes of saying, wow, you've accomplished so many cool things. And you're like, yeah, but I still got so much more to go.
Well, in case people didn't know, I mean, you're a Chiefs legend. You're repping the gear right now. What's this last couple year run been like for you guys and the former players watching the Chiefs finally get there?
It's been awesome. It's been fun. Even, the year that they played in the championship game, the year before that, you hear all the sayings of, we've got this kid that's sitting on the bench right now. We're grooming him to be, he's going to be great. He's got all these things that are going on. You should see him at practice of what he's done. And then being able to sort of follow it and see it come to fruition is pretty cool.
Will Shields with us, and we also have BJ Ganem. Okay, and we've had BJ. First of all, he's a rock star on NFL Radio Row, and with what he does with SierraDelta.com and what he's done before with the amputee flag football game. Drew Bledsoe said that he remembers him. They had his leg shatter half off, right? BJ joins us on SicEm365 Radio, and BJ with SierraDelta.com. Will, what does SierraDelta.com mean to you?
It means a whole lot because, I am a military kid. My dad was in the military, so I know what it's like to have a father that's been out in wars and come home and know all the different pieces of what you need to get back to what you want to be, get back to normalcy, get back to having somebody to care for and vice versa. So the work that they're doing is, unbelievable. And we really believe in all that they're doing to help not only, to help families come back together, which is one of the key resources of what they're doing.
Yeah, and I can't thank you enough, Will. I know we've done some shows together, and I know we're going to get together and do some more stuff there in Kansas City area. But, having guys like Hall of Famer like Will Shields help us get this message out just means the world to this organization. We've only been around for 3 years. We've already helped over 500 vets, and we're looking to help 1,000 this year. If we raise $3 million this year, we'll be able to put 1,000 new vets in the program, equaling the total output of all the other dog programs for vets combined in this country. So
awesome.
I can't thank guys like Will Shields enough. It's just amazing that we get to share the field with them every now and again. And I'm looking forward to us, once we get through this COVID, be able to do it again. You don't know what you got until it's gone, right? And now we're going to make sure that we do it even bigger and better once we can come back together responsibly.
Will, you mentioned your father being military. I know Offutt Air Force Base is where I was born 61 years ago, nearly 62 years ago. Was he ever stationed at Offutt?
No, I was actually born in Fort Riley, Kansas, and then I was raised in Lawton, Oklahoma, which is Fort Sill, the artillery base.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We have Fort Hood in our backyard, and they're down in Killeen, so
yeah.
Yeah. Will, do you have a dog? Are you a dog person?
I have 2 dogs, actually. I have 2 Labradoodles, one mini and one standard.
Okay.
Beautiful. The Chiefs are trying to win it again after such a long drought of 50 years since the days of Len Dawson and Hank Stram and company. Then last year they win it, and now back again. Your thoughts about your Kansas City Chiefs?
It's awesome to actually be able to get back to the game so fast, after you've had that 50-year drought of not being able to get there. But I think they've put the right pieces together, and that's what you like to see is when they put the right pieces together, keep them together. And what they did after that Super Bowl run was, hey, we want to keep these guys and keep our core together. And they went and made that, sacrifice and said, I shouldn't say sacrifice, but commitment to the guys that were there in the huddle and said, look, these are the guys we want to keep together and try to create something that's special, not only for 1 year, but for multiple years back to back.
What would your advice be for the offensive line that's got to shuffle with Eric Fisher being out for the game with that torn Achilles?
I would tell them to keep working hard. They're trying to figure out exactly how they're going to do different things. They've got 2 weeks, to sort of put a game plan together around the guys that they have in place. But also the simple fact, you wouldn't be here if they don't think you can play. And so they kept you around for a reason. So they think you're a part of the team, you could play. Now it's your time to step up and shine. I'm not saying you can do it all by yourself. Now, of course, you got to be smart. Get some guys around them that can help them here. Little B-gap squat here, a guy coming in, hitting them here and there, that kind of stuff. But you can't just put it in one place at one time.
That's right. It's just like we learned in the military. I'm sure your dad taught you as you guys were growing up. You got to know everybody's job. You can't just focus on yourself. And, that's what we need to start doing more in this country as a whole. We got to start learning how we can work together to bring ourselves back together. But I love listening to Will Shields break it down. Like when he talks about, because you were telling a story once before about you being a rookie and you had to go right in, didn't you, Will?
Yeah. Yeah. My first game we played against Tampa. Yeah. And, left guard gets hurt, right guard comes in, he moves over to the left, I move in the right, and that was my opportunity. And from that point on, I was a starter for the next 14 seasons. So you never know when that next guy has to step up and stand in, and they end up finding themselves in a job in a position that, of course, in your mind you go, oh, I could do this, but you don't know until you actually get out there and you have those live guys coming at you. But you just try to prove yourself. And this is the opportunity that these guys have in the biggest stage ever that everybody's going to be watching to put their highlight films on tape and say, I can play at this level and I can do it at a high level.
I remember you telling me that John Randall was your nemesis, but who was your mentor as you were coming into the league there at Kansas City?
Well, it was really cool. They had brought in a veteran player that was actually playing in front of me, but they brought another guy behind me to be my mentor, and it's Reggie McElroy. And It was really cool about it because Reggie actually was a Raider for the longest time. And so they signed him over as a backup guard to sort of teach me the ropes and teach me about playing the game. And Reggie took me under his wing, and, he's got this big, deep, burly voice, and you just hear him say, come over here, Rook. This is what we're going to do now. And that's what you love about it is that you had guys like Reggie that really came in and says, he's not he wasn't planning on being a starter or what have you. He was that guy that sort of helped out at the other way, but he was sort of that mentor to me to train me of what it was to be a pro and how it is to perform at a certain level.
I have to ask you, Will, because I mentioned I was born at Offutt, a lifelong Nebraska fan, although it hasn't been easy at all the last 15 or 20 years. What's going on with the program? I know Scott Frost is back. You were a part of the teams. You weren't a part of that run where they won those national titles, but my goodness, you were a part of setting that table and being a part of making that run in the mid-'90s. What do you see with where they are right now?
Well, I think they're just trying to refocus and refigure out where they want to be. And I think when you have different offensive philosophies and defensive philosophies trying to come together, and you still have that traditional thought pattern as us as Husker fans of what it used to be, I think you have to sort of bring yourself into the modern times of, kids are a little different. They need a little different things, and you got to build around what you have. And I think that's the one thing that we have to look at is that if you can build around what you have and sort of incorporate what you want to get done, it makes a big difference. Whereas if you try to bring in the pieces to fit your scheme, your offense, your this, it's going to be a little harder because the recruiting is a little different doing Big Ten recruiting compared to when you were basically, at my point, Big 8 and Midwest, and being able to go down that pipeline into Texas and get those kids because their parents will see them on a regular basis. Now you got to go up north and fight with teams that have that tradition in that same group and trying to fight against what they've already put together for the last 30 years.
Pro Football Hall of Fame, Walter Payton, NFL Man of the Year, mentioned the Pro Bowls and the All-Pros, and Outland Trophy winner at Nebraska as well, and helping represent SierraDelta.com. Right. BJ, anything else for Will Shields?
Thank you again, Will, for helping us spread this Sierra Delta message, helping get more people to go to SierraDelta.com, learn about what we're doing, how we're helping all vets, helping more vets and more dogs find their way home together. I thank you so much, my friend. I can't wait to see you again here soon.
No problem, man. Appreciate you.
Will Shields, across the board, amazing as a football player, but when you win Walter Payton Man of the Year, you know what he represents as well as a military kid and with SierraDelta.com. BJ Gannon, Paul Catalina, I'm David Smoak, and this is SicEm365 Radio.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Fall in love with a new vehicle for less at Allen Samuels with incredible deals like a 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Plus or Lux with $6,750 in values, or a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo for $4,250 in values. There's a reason why Jeep has so many accolades. So come see for yourself and save at AllenSamuels.com. It's the Start Something New sales event at Allen Samuels, your friend in the car business. AllenSamuelsDCJ.com.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram. It's
It's a new year. Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Hi, this is David Smoak, including what you'll need to watch the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl. Ribs, sauces, links, brisket, chicken wings, bags of various snacks, and customized appetizer trays. Don't forget to order something now for the perfect home-cooked Valentine's Day dinner, which is closer than you think, including combo packs with ribeyes, fillets, and lobster tails. Live crawfish season is just around the corner. Absolutely the right time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Waco Custom Marketplace, your family meat market, butcher shop and bakery with everything baked fresh with old-fashioned farmers market atmosphere. Serving Waco restaurants and families since 1940. Your one-stop shop for beef, pork, poultry, and seafood needs. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like mortgage lending, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio app is sponsored by Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
All right, here we go. SicEm365 Radio is our last segment or two of Super Bowl 55 coverage. Paul Catalina, David Smoak, Craig Smoak, Armstrong Sims runs the mothership. Grayson Grunhafer joins us on SicEm365 Radio. So, Grayson, your thoughts about National Signing Day kind of came with a whimper because of what it meant in December. Thoughts about what Baylor and really, in the end, what kind of a class do you feel like they had, considering all the turmoil of last year and the coaching staff changes?
Yeah, I think when you look at the 17 2021 commits that they signed in December, they were really happy about the class that they got. They addressed a lot of really key positions, whether it was the offensive line, wide receiver, quarterback, running back, the secondary. They did a great job in the secondary as well. The one area that I think everyone looks at and goes, okay, well, maybe they could have done a little bit more. It's probably the defensive line and maybe even the offensive line. But the thing of it is when you look at kind of the roster makeup, this team really needs to get a little bit older at both of those positions. And so I think you can't really do that in a 2021 class. And so therefore you didn't have the fireworks on signing day because Baylor's trying to use their last spot on older guys, whether it's grad transfers, JUCOs, normal transfers, instead of 2021 recruits. So at the end of the day, they did a great job with the 2021 class, and then the additions of, Siaki Ika, Grant Miller, and Drew Estrada were also very big pickups to give them a little bit more veteran leadership and depth.
Great. Maybe we're going to start to see with this transfer portal a shift into where this signing day is, kind of, I don't want to say the crumbs because some of these big recruits sign, but it's very small. And then the full court press will be on what happens after spring football with the transfer portal.
Yeah, that's definitely how it is this year. I don't know if it's going to be like that every single year, though. I think this is a really unique situation because, the expectation is the one-time transfer rule is going to get approved. Therefore, normal transfers can come in and play right away. And that's not a normal thing that will happen every single year, in my opinion. But look, to this year, that's very true. And I think if you look last year even, the February signing period is really just one of those where it seems to draw out their recruitment or guys who just kind of peak late. And that happens. If you put out your film in January and no one's seen it before December, then you have guys that kind of pop on the map and then make their decision late. I mean, one of the guys that you can, I guess, point to is kind of a Central Texas guy who that happened to was Brian Rudder, wide receiver Keithron Lee. His recruitment really took off late, and he waited to sign with Texas until February.
Grayson, how much of a bummer is this little interruption in Baylor men's basketball's great run?
Yeah, it's a bummer. I was kind of doing a little digging and reading into it a little bit more, and obviously it's not an ideal situation for Baylor to go on a pause right now because they've been playing so well. But on the flip side, the last time they went on pause, they came out and played Kansas State and won by, name the score. I think they won by like 40-something points. So this is a veteran team and a team that's very focused on their goal and a team that I don't think a pause is going to really ruin anything for them. Maybe it takes away some of the momentum and takes them a game or two to get back. But this team at, rusty 70% is still going to most of the teams as well.
Grayson, one question on men's basketball outside of Craig, and then we got to let you go. We appreciate your time. They did get Dylan Hunter the commitment yesterday. He's a young man who's very good, obviously, a tall guard, plays well, 4-star, top, rated guy. Your thoughts about Dylan Hunter and his commitment to Baylor?
Yeah, if you look at Dylan, he's got, really long arms, which is something that this Baylor staff loves out of their guards. And if you watch his film, he's very smooth. He gets into the lane really well. He dishes the ball really well. I think an area that he's going to have to improve on is his jump shot. And that happens often with guys. I mean, if you look at a guy like Davion Mitchell, he's a guy who had problems with his jump shot. Now you look at him this year, and he's shooting almost 40% from three. So it takes time. I've seen comparisons. Ashley Hodge compared him to Tyrese Halliburton a little bit. I can see that. He's very shifty in the open court and just passes the ball extremely well. And one thing I've really noticed about him that I really, really like is his ability on the defensive end. He's a very focused guy. He's ready to come in and be a team player. And I think he's a perfect fit for what Baylor's trying to build and what Scott Drew's trying to do for the future of the men's basketball program.
Grayson, thank you very much. Paul?
Yeah. No, I'm
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Grayson Grunhay for SicEm365.com. And now to wrap up the 3 days, thanks to Marco's Pizza, Bob Mock, and their 3 locations in Belmead, China Spring, and also in Woodway. The 5 at 5:55.
All right. It's Fun Friday. It's Friday. We have to do these fun topics. So, top 5, and these are mine. You guys can debate them if you like. Top 5 Super Bowl halftime shows, which until the 90s wasn't really, it wasn't really kind of an event. I mean, it was.
Well, don't act like there wasn't entertainment
before
the 90s.
But it was.
I know that we.
Then it was more Broadway. Which I like Broadway,
Go ahead.
But I'm just saying, it's
Go
more
ahead.
Broadway.
I'm recusing myself.
I mean, Up With People did like 11 of them.
Go ahead. The Orange Bowl halftimes in the 70s and 80s were
I didn't say the Orange Bowl, I said the Super Bowl.
I know, but if they did it at the Orange Bowl.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did Up With People a bunch of times. All right, so I don't know if they did a graphic for the 5 worst, but I hope that he did. But we'll do the 5 best ones. Super Bowl 28 was Clint Black, Travis Tritt, Tanya Tucker, and the Judds. That's a great country show. And number 4 was last year's Super Bowl, J-Lo and Shakira. I don't think anybody listen, that was a great halftime show.
I had no complaints.
I mean, no complaints about that.
Why is it only 4?
Well, look, I did not want to be I didn't want people to say, I mean, I could have put it number one. I really could have, but I know what people would have said about me. All right. Number 3, Super Bowl 26 was 36 was U2.
Okay.
You don't like U2?
Nah, it's okay.
I'm not a big U2 fan. I understand the performance and all that. That's good. I wasn't a fan of them per se, but I can get why they're on there.
Yeah.
There's a surprisingly a number of crappy ones. Number 2, Super Bowl 52. I was at this one. I saw it in person in Minneapolis. It's Justin Timberlake. I thought he crushed it. I don't know how it came across.
Is this the one when he revealed the nipple?
No. I left that one off. I left that one off because
hashtag reveal the nipple. Yeah.
Yeah. I left that one off because that singular moment in American history, it was
when the country went to hell.
It was that moment. Because we saw a nipple for a second, and then we had these dividing lines in the sand of who liked the nipple, who didn't like the nipple, and
who didn't like the nipple.
Apparently, a bunch of people.
Okay, all right.
All of a sudden,
I drove home from Houston that night, and that's all I heard on Sirius XM.
Yeah, it was a topic. It was more of a topic than the game was. That was for sure.
No question.
All right. And then I think I got the number wrong here, but Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers was in. Super Bowl 42,
I guess.
Yeah, Super Bowl 42. Yeah, I love Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I love them. I think they're a great band.
That doesn't mean the performance was good.
I thought the performance was great. Okay. But, look, the number one to me in my whole life was still J-Lo and Shakira, but I'm not putting it at number 1 because I'm not being paint with that brush.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, not to bring the mood down a little bit here, but Tom Petty, a guy who died because of opioids. And, we're talking to our guests like Daryl Strawberry, but, yeah, he overdosed on fentanyl. So that's the biggest killer out there right now in our country.
All right, and maybe just to spruce it up, I have my top 5 worst with which Jack did not do.
Well, I want to do my 5 best. We got time. We can run.
Yeah, go ahead.
Katy Perry and the dolphin, or whatever
the shark.
The shark.
Yeah,
the shark.
Yeah, the shark. Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
I took him off the list.
Why?
I'm not putting him on any list and celebrating that man in any way.
Fair.
You mean to tell me all the entertainers that you put on the list are all clean, squeaky, everything?
They're not that damn bad.
You don't know.
I mean,
but we do know about Michael.
Yeah, I do know about Michael.
I'm not Prince in 2007.
Yeah, Prince was great.
Another opiate overdose. Another fentanyl.
Another one. Okay. How about? And I remember this. First of all. Diana Ross had one where she took over a halftime back, I think, in the 90s.
I asked you about that one. You were like,
Yeah, okay.
That's why I didn't put it on there.
All right, so Michael Jackson's X'd off. I think the Super Bowl 30, the Cowboys in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Diana Ross, okay.
All right, the top 5 worst. Super Bowl 53, Maroon 5.
I know where this is going.
Super Bowl 53, Maroon 5. Super Bowl 53, Maroon 5. Super Bowl 53, Maroon 5. And Super Bowl 53, Maroon 5.
Craig, which was your favorite that you can recollect? Hey, Beyonce and Destiny's Child did a combo thing about 10 years ago, too.
Oh, she was a Destiny's Child, but yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Guys,
that's what I thought.
I really don't. I'm not a big halftime show fan. I'm not caught up in the theatrics and all of that. I mean, I get the appeal of it, but I don't find those live performances to really be all that entertaining. Just me personally, I'll check it out, but it's not something that keeps me on the couch, for all of halftime. That's typically a break to go get food or do whatever. But I am very much looking forward to, having said that, because basically the ones that I liked are the ones that Paul mentioned, and those are the ones that I probably remember best. But I am looking forward to the weekend. I'm a huge fan of the weekend, have been for well over a decade now, and I think he's going to kill it. So I'm looking forward to that on Sunday.
One thing about Shakira and J-Lo, I want to see energy, and they both were able to show a little bit of each one of their own thing, and then, of course, their energy was beyond most anything you could imagine. And they're happy. There was nothing. I don't think there was any kind of political message, which sometimes can ruin award shows and even pregame or postgame.
I really like it also when they match the entertainer to the city, kind of.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So if you're in New Orleans, you're kind of a bluesy, person, or whatever it is. But sometimes it's just like a random person there. I think the weekend fits for Tampa pretty good. I mean, I think.
I think it's good. But those are some of the ones. Rolling Stones, Rolling Stones was was up in
Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. That was obviously all right. Pretty good. I know Armstrong Sims. I'm going to let you. I know we're running a little bit late, and I know you wanted to go long because it's been an easy week for you.
Hey, Armstrong, surprise! We're doing another hour from Radio Row.
No,
he would lose it.
I need you.
Uh-oh.
And I know that others have been around. Connor, Cole. Obviously, Colt was there doing a lot of stuff the last day or two. Obviously, Rob, and Jack. But I need you to try to explain what this 3-day stretch has been in your chair.
Well, it's been hectic for sure. It's been crazy, but it's also been super fun, pretty cool. All the guests we have been incredible. I mean, it's not every day. Oh, I could say it's not every day you get to call Coach Drew up and have him on the show. But, in this line of work, it kind of is every day.
You called Darryl Strawberry today.
And that, it's pretty cool. It's not every day you get to do that. So, I mean, it has been crazy and hectic, but the interns we have here have been amazing, and it's been a really cool experience. So,
well, you've done phenomenal. I've been a part of these pretty much almost every year since Super Bowl 27. I think there's one year I was not, but I'm telling you right now, you've done an incredible job keeping up with it, especially because we've added the technical part of it, the Zoom, Craig in the studio, we're here at Radio Row, and then even guests like in Denver or God knows all over the country that we've had.
I don't know where Dave Mason was. So
yeah, I don't either. All right, so I'm going to try to remember today: Curly Culp, Sean King, Dave Mason, Grayson Grunhafer, Warren Moon, DeMarcus Ware, Drew Bledsoe, Darryl Strawberry, and Will Shields. Man, that's been awesome.
Pretty good.
Thanks again to Marco's Pizza. Armstrong, Craig, your thoughts about 3 days? We can go another 2 minutes. Your thoughts about the 3 days. You've been a part of a lot of them. We missed you being here, and we understood why. But your thoughts about what you've been a part of the last 3 days?
I didn't know what to expect from you guys being out there and knowing that Radio Row was going to be a little bit more of a ghost town than what we are accustomed to, which is just a madhouse of activity, 24/7 basically for 5 days straight. But, I think given the circumstances and situation, you guys knocked it out of the park. We talked to a lot of legends and a lot of great guests and had a lot of insight outside of the game of sports with people like Darryl Strawberry and Randy Grimes and Charles Haley as well. So I think they said some things that were important for probably, at least one person, if not many people out there to hear. So hopefully if you didn't catch that, then hopefully you do at some point in time. But, yeah, all that's podcasts are up, and go find those if you missed out on any. But I think you guys did a really great job given the circumstances especially. And, just safe travels back home here in a couple days back to Waco.
Paul's going back tomorrow. I'll be back Monday. Eric, my great friend, is going to take us to the game Sunday evening. It's a thrill to be able to go as a fan, just to go watch the game. Scott Drew, Randy White, Mark Schlereth, C.J. Lanehart, Randy Grimes, Leonard Marshall, King McClure, Matt Saman, Charles Haley, Mark Rippett, Ira Kaufman, Morton Anderson, O.J. Anderson, Ross Tucker, and also the guest I mentioned from earlier today. Paul, great stuff. Thanks to our friends Kyle Belanger, Josh Reimer. Thanks to B.J. Ganem, Chris Visser, and all of those who have been on the outside helping us as well. Armstrong, Cole, Connor, Jack, and Rob. Thank you all. Colt, Bryant, and Ashley, thank you for allowing us to be here. Our great friend Eric Horton, who got a great shout-out from DeMarcus Ware from the Tyler Candle Company and what he does as well. Paul, we got it done.
We did.
We got it done.
We did.
We got it damn done.
The NFL didn't take down ours or Dave Stevens' signs that we used hand sanitizers for.
And now we break it down. We come back. We'll be back on the air. We'll know who the new Super Bowl champion is or repeat champion. Does Tom Brady get 7? Does Patrick Mahomes go back-to-back? I'm David Smoak. For everyone that we've mentioned, our guest and everyone who helps, good night from Tampa, Florida on SicEm365 Radio. Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com.
U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to Sic'Em365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott at edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.